The damp humidity of the air sticks to your skin. It weighs on you like a blanket, like a warm fog that just seems to envelop everything around you. Sweat beads on your flesh. It drips down your face and onto your clothing. You're miserable. Even traveling along this river, where you can dip your hand in the water and splash on your face if you need to, the heat is unbearable. It's been 4 days since you left Port Nyansaru, and Hugh has been helpful in getting you here. But even so, the going has been tough. Everybody take a point of exhaustion until you're able to take a short or long rest. You see the bend approaching you. The rapids pick up once more, jostling your boat side to side. The steady sound of rushing water cascading around you. But you manage to keep the boat up, and you manage to continue on your journey. Hugh would glance back over his shoulder at all of you as he mans the front of the canoe you travel in, this large canoe. We'll be there soon. Keep your heads about you, eyes peeled. You know how this works. You don't survive in the jungle if you don't.
Alright. So I guess if we're still traveling, Sienna will take this time to, when they have a moment to themselves to finally greet Menez once again. It's been a while since she's seen her, and she's been really worried about her. So give her like a little hug if Menez doesn't stop her. Say, "Oh dearie, I've seen all those posters and heard all the commotion. You've created quite a fuss, haven't we?"
Yeah, those 4 days ago, when we had left Nyanzaru, as the canoe had made its way, you guys had obviously met me on the banks, just further out, and she had come out of the brush and moved some of the some of the brush away and taken some of her equipment and hopped in, and we had actually continued. But that was 4 days ago. Now she's just as she's making her way, just as much as possible, just really using her strength to put her back into it. She looks up at you and she says, "Have you been this way before? I know you have, Björn," she says, as this heat is just just making her pour down with sweat.
Sure. I believe so, because the way to the Firefinger was along this river, and when we rescued that Aarakocra fella from there, he said their place wasn't that far.
As for me, the only time I was along these places was along with you when we had that unfortunate encounter with the flaming fists. Was a bit further south in the jungle, but it's not far from there anyway.
She looks back at Akira and says, "How you holding up?"
Akira said he's doing pretty good. He's really glad to see you again. He thought when you ran off in the woods you wasn't coming back. And then you disappeared on the boat. We didn't know what happened to you. We're glad to see you.
And then Sienna will turn to Hugh, our guy, and we'll ask, "When's the next time we can take a proper rest? I have a little help for us if we can make some landfall next time we go to take our break."
If I recall correctly, just beyond here, there's an eddy, a small area where the rivers aren't as choppy. We go past there, next turn around the bend, we could stop and then it's by foot to get to Kirsabal.
It's like, good. I'll give us a proper rest.
Be wary though. This lake we're passing through, it's known for its carnivorous wildlife.
On that note, Bjorn will kind of go on the sides and kind of keep an open eye for these said carnivorous dangers.
So as you kind of reach this point in the river that Hugh has pointed out to you, it would kind of turn. You'd see like the rapids rotate and then slow and become still. And you'd enter into this large, very calm lake, just an inlet in a way, like a little spot where the river kind of just flows through before going down the rest of the river, becoming a river once more, that is. And it's strangely still. You can see the slow swirl of water beneath you, pushing leaves and other detritus as you slowly paddle through here. It almost is like a mirror, though you know that beneath the dirt and the grime that cover its surface, obscuring the bottoms, the lower parts of this river, you know that there are things that lurk in those depths. You see Hugh's hand would tighten around his oar, white knuckle gripping it, tension evident on his face.
Do I have any abilities? I guess nobody speaks up. Sienna will go, what's got you so worried, Hugh? What kind of things are in this water around here that we have to be inside?
He would kind of glance at you, keeping only briefly though, before his eyes would turn back to the water. Crocodiles, dinosaurs, you name it. Pretty much anything you could think of might be lurking in these waters.
Oh, good.
No, you're good.
No, Sienna will say, well, just get us to some dry land, my little dearie, and we'll be good for a while.
I want you all to roll me a perception check.
Since I have my familiar with me, can I use his perception?
That'd be fine.
Since his is better.
Are we under disadvantage?
Yes, because you're exhausted. So skill checks are made a disadvantage.
I got
Alright.
15.
15, you say?
Yeah.
Okay, so about 15, 17, 15,
12.
12.
Mm.
Okay.
I
So
only
a
got
17. Okay, so a 17 will be enough to see this. And you'll be the only one that sees it, as Hugh does not roll very well. Maybe 30, 40 feet off the starboard side of the boat, this little canoe, you would see briefly what looks like what you thought initially was like a piece of bark, like a ridged bark sticking up over the top. It starts to move and rotate and slink underneath the surface of the water.
Menace points with the paddle, taking it out of the water and pointing in the starboard direction. And she says, look, 30 feet out.
Alerted by that, Bjorn will try and look at whatever she's pointing at and takes out his halberd from where it's strapped on his back.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get to shore as quick as possible. We need to get this boat out of the canoe out of the water. And then she starts to like really put the paddle back in and just put her back into it.
Rig will land on Menace's shoulder and go, "Ka! Row, row, row your boat before we all die."
Not now, Rig. Not now.
Yeah. I imagine anybody who turns to look is just like a second too slow as it slips beneath the water. But Hugh is obviously like, this obviously gets on him, and he's like, no, paddles up. We need to wait. If we cause ripples, Whatever is beneath us will come. That
Gonna
thing,
stop.
whatever it is, obviously is alerted to our presence.
Minette stops, takes the paddle out, dripping as it against the side of the canoe.
And now I roll a perception check. As you stop paddling, you sit there for 2-3 tense minutes. The silence weighing on the air, a knife poised. You hear the occasional flutter of wings, the chirp of a bird in the canopy above you, a splash somewhere down the river in a different part of the lake. And as you're sitting in silence, kind of glancing about the boat nervously, you'd see a huge spine come up along the side of the boat, arch into the air, and go back under. Anybody who's might know about the wildlife out here can make me a nature check to try to determine what this creature might be.
That's with disadvantage.
Yeah.
I got 14.
Okay.
15.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I had a 22 for the first
I
roll.
got 12.
I had a nat 20 on my first roll.
Well, anyone who got higher than a 14 or higher, tell me how you know or how you've heard about the Spinosaurus.
Ooh, shit. Sienna will have likely come across it while researching the various creatures and things, potential non or magical nature in Chult. You know, special emphasis on the dinosaurs, being that they are completely foreign to the Sword Coast, and anything new or interesting to her has been utterly fascinating. So she will have probably read about them.
Bjorn will recall the story of what looked like an adventure, maybe, but that used to be that, but basically just a drunkard in a tavern that was just like screaming about some kind of a swamp snake as big as a tree and as dangerous as 10 crocodiles. And he just dismissed that information at the moment, thinking it was just a spouting nonsense of a drunk man. But now it comes back to his mind, and he's like, well, perhaps it wasn't just drunk talk. And he will share the information with the other members on the canoe, whispering to not try and draw attention to him.
How far away are we from the bank as we're just like drifting on this like lake?
I'd say you maybe be like 30-40 feet from the bank. So a good hard row maybe get you there in a bit. You'd be on the river for a little bit longer, but you think you could probably get there if you got lucky. But those of you who see this creature, and you hear these stories and the things that people know about it, those of you who've heard of Gather Doom know of a monstrous creature, a monstrosity that stalks the waste of this land, of these trees, eating and terrifying those that it finds. You know that this creature is much larger, that the Gather Doom is much larger than the Spinosaurus, but you might say that it's just a smaller cousin of this creature. It is still huge. Hugh would begin to frantically fish around inside of his pack. What are the rest of you doing?
Ned says, "So what? We're just going to wait here, or we're going to try and like paddle our way out of her quickly." The rest.
Quick question. Bit of an odd one, but how far away were you from like the shore?
30 to 40 feet.
Like 30 to 40 feet.
All right. How much do you think we all weigh together inside this boat?
A lot.
How much does everybody weigh?
I'm like
Sienna's
250.
like only like 110 pounds.
I'm like 250.
250. Damn.
Sorry, I'm terrible with weights, man. You see me counting on my fingers when we roll dice.
Yeah, we're in pounds.
Hugh would probably weigh around like probably 250 also, even though he's just a stocky little dwarf.
Yeah, about the same for Kira.
That's a fat ass elf.
That's a fat ass elf. But I guess Hugh said to just wait till it goes, and it went back under when Menace stopped paddling. So
y'all need to lay back on the bar food. I was going to levitate the entire boat with us.
His hand would emerge from his pack, and he'd have what looks like just like wet. Well, not wet. Maybe like a slightly dried but still fresh meat from a previous night. And he'd look at you guys like, "What do you want to do?" Like he's like looking at the meat, like maybe I throw it over the boat, or do we just wait?
Sienna has the idea. She sees his plan, so she will cast Mage Hand. You know, to pick up the meat. Use the spell to carry it 30 feet out, and then to chuck it as far as it can.
When Bjorn sees Sienna doing that, he's gonna pick up a paddle and like ready himself to row as hard as he can, so they can get to the shore when the meat is gonna be thrown.
Yeah, Menez catches Bjorn's eye and mirrors exactly what he's doing.
Who wants to be the unfortunate to roll the luck die?
I will.
Okay, go ahead. Give me that D8 roll.
Hold on, I gotta switch to a different app. Straight D8.
Straight D8.
And let me roll it. And I got an 8.
Oh, that's lucky. Okay, you fling the meat another 30 feet from where you were standing. So 30 feet, 60 feet away from the boat on the right side. The meat splashes into the water. You see it float on the surface for a little bit. Hugh holds up his hand like, wait. And then he lowers his hand and starts paddling as hard as he can. You see in that moment that you start paddling towards the shore as hard as you can that the meat turns into like a frothing mess. And you see something huge. But it's not the Spinosaurus. It's a dire crocodile. This thing is ginormous, as big as your canoe easily. It's snapping at the meat. And then out of the water next to it, jaws wide, a Spinosaurus comes, clamps down on the crocodile, and pulls it under the water.
We're
You make it to the shore just barely.
Greg is giving encouragement in the best way he can by telling you best to hurry up.
Absolutely. We scramble out, dragging the canoe way up onto the side.
Yeah.
He was like breathing heavily. It looks like he might vomit, but then he steels himself and kind of like does the breathing like and calms himself down. Puts his like guide face back on, essentially, kind of cracks his shoulders, cracks his neck. That was a close one, lads. Well, I guess we're on foot for now, unless you want to get back out on the lake.
Sienna will go, no, dearie. I'm good with that, but do inform me when we reach a suitable spot to make camp for the first night.
You just kind of give a nod and look to the rest of you. Well, marching order then, gentlemen and gentlewomen. And he kind of turns, looking into the forest, cracks his neck again, and starts walking. He's kind of got over his shoulder. He's basically one-handing this huge maul, which is kind of like resting on his back as he walks.
I'll follow afterwards.
And also, Menez would go next?
Sienna will be in the middle.
Okay. So wait. So who's taking the back? The very rear.
Akira.
Big here.
Yeah, I'll be in the boat.
Okay. Cool. So you guys get into marching order. Hugh kind of stepping up to the front. You see that he'd look at the dense canopy, the dense vegetation before him, put them all on his back, kind of just shaking his head, and he'd pull like a very hefty machete off of his like side and start chopping through the vines, making his way into the unmarked path, essentially, judging the direction by the sun and by where you guys got out of the boat to get you guys to Kier's the ball. So how are you traveling? Are you traveling quickly, stealthily? What do you guys want?
But do let me know when it gets like night or close to nightfall, because I do have a plan.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, probably be better to go stealthily since there's man-eating plants out here.
It's funny because even as I can imagine that Menez was trying to like go forward quite fast actually, which is until Akira was like, whoa, remember where we are, type of thing. So stealth is good.
Okay. So I'm gonna have. We'll just roll a group stealth check. So whoever is the best at stealth, you'll feel the roll for the group. Feel free.
It'd be Akira.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got +4.
You got +4?
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Yeah, who's got +4? So I only got +3.
You go for it.
Well,
No,
yeah,
you got the better one. Menace.
Sorry, Akira, you got +3. You said.
Yeah, my stealth's +3.
Okay, great. So do we do it's still we're at disadvantage, right? Still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get a help
Still
check from somebody
disadvantage.
though.
Oh, I'll do that.
So that'll
Okay, so
just
this
get me
it
straight.
cancels out. Just one roll.
I rolled a 9, 10, 12, 13.
13. Okay, so you guys proceed off into the jungle, making your way at a steady, stealthy pace. Dark slowly approaches you, kind of coating the jungle in like a miasma of darkness, essentially. The light of day fading, and eventually you would find yourselves. You find an old, what's it called? Like an old hideout, like an old guide's post, basically. It's got like a little ladder leading up a tree into like a little tree house. All right, everybody up. We'll stay until morning. Heads out first light.
All right. Once we get up there, Sienna will kind of, sit down and like, how big of a room is it? I'm assuming not like too big, right?
No, it's like maybe like 15 by 15 feet.
All right, she will. This is nice, but a little bit of extra security never hurts. And you'll see her, like, start rattling things off from her pack. She pulls out 2 candles, sets them a couple of feet apart from each other, and begins tracing a magic symbol with her hands, casting the ritual tiny hut.
My man.
Which, I guess I'll read it for you. Our glorious DM, a 10-foot radius immobile dome of force springs into existence around you and above you and remains stationary for the duration. The spell ends if you leave the area. 9 creatures of up to medium size or smaller can fit inside the dome with you. The spell fails if the area includes a creature of large category or larger. Creatures and objects within the dome, when you cast a spell, can move through it freely. All other creatures and objects are barred from passing through it. Spells and other magical effects can't pass through it. The atmosphere aside is comfortable and dry, regardless of the weather. The spell ends when you command the interior. Until the spell ends, you can command the interior to become dimly lit or dark. The dome is opaque from the outside of any color you choose, but it's transparent from the inside, and it lasts for 8 hours, and it gives us the ability to take a long rest.
10 foot sounds pretty tight to me, but sure.
Oh, it's 10 foot cubed.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's not that bad.
It's we're all gonna be like piled up, but it's and then it's literally an indestructible dome that nothing can get in.
Sweet.
Oh, I know about the hut. I know about the hut.
Oh, I asked Chris. It lets us take long rests, so no more exhaustion.
Yep. No, it's fine. Your exhaustion would be gone. Yeah. So is there anything anybody wants to do throughout the night? Any conversations that happen, or do you want to just skip to the morning?
As we got in here and this thing kind of appeared, and everyone sort of like settled in and settled down to like rest up a bit. She takes out her one of the feathers, and she says, she looks towards Bjorn and towards Sienna and says, "Do you still have yours?"
I don't think Bjorn has one. He
I
wasn't.
never got one in the first place.
He wasn't on that quest.
Yeah.
It was just
But
Sienna.
You've seen already on just even on this this trek that we've done now that she's already crossing her head. She's crossing a line. She's like saying, like, "Were you there and you there and you weren't there?" Or this is starting to happen, which has not happened before. But anyway, so she says that.
Sienna will pull like the feather out from under her hat, and wave it at you. But she'll go. But more importantly, dear, how are you doing? It's been a while, and from what I've heard, things have not been very well since that boat trip back.
She says, "I'd prefer to think ahead than behind. Getting back will be will come in time," she says.
What are these feathers? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
What are these feathers?
And she looks at Sienna.
Sienna will look over to Bjorn like, "Oh yeah, my fine muscly friend. You weren't there when we helped out Zaka before that unfortunate incident. We helped her recover a family heirloom. We rescued one of these Aarakocra monks that we're going to go meet from the Terror folk. He gave us a couple of like his own feathers as like some kind of symbol of friendship where they were to show off to the monks there."
All right.
It was said. I remember the Aarakocra, Nafir, I think it was. He said that we have to again. We meet Ashara. We have to ask for, and that these feathers are like an old tradition called the dance of the seven winds, and the Aarakocra take this as like a gift of friendship and will bestow us the gift of flight for long periods of time.
A flight? That sounds crazy.
She did say the journey was hard to actually get there, but it would be worthwhile in reaching there.
And then Sienna will ask, "Well, have you heard about them holding this person? When I heard about it from you through the grapevines about they're holding somebody hostage as well, and that's why we're out here."
Yeah, she nods. She says, supposedly it was Akira. Did you hear about those the last royal? And she goes, she's like this, trying to catch.
Nope, Jerry ain't hear of it.
And then she says, the last royal heir of one of the princes of Chol, something like this, I think it was.
That rings a bell to Bjorn.
Was it the werebeast that we fought?
I don't
No,
know.
no.
Ah,
I think it was someone else. That was one of the merchant princes. I think this was someone else entirely.
Anyway, Hugh, do you know when we're gonna get there? Like, how far are we from their destination?
He would look up from an item that he's kind of like moving his hand across in his hand. You see that he's kind of like holding onto it, just like his eyes are closed, his head kind of bowed. And you see that what was in his hand is this like old, like the head, like the old head of like a, what would you describe it? Like the head of like a warhammer essentially, but it's old and it's rusty. You see it's kind of melted, like slag-like on the side. But he's rubbing his hand across it, and he look up at you as you say this. We should get there early in the morning. If we leave at first light, I think maybe 3-4 hours of travel. Should be pretty soon.
What is that you're holding, Hugh?
He'd look down at the warhammer head in his hand, and he'd look up at you. I've already told Menace this story. I am from a mine. My family, my friends in the north. Wormhold mine, and a dragon attacked us there. Wanted
Tinder,
the
right?
riches that we had. Killed them all. This is my brothers. He kind of holds up the hammer. I swear I'll kill that bastard someday. He kind of like look down and keep rubbing it with his hand.
At this point, Siena's like pull out her big journal / tome of everything knowledge she has, and she will like look Hugh like dead in the eye. She's like, "What can you tell me about this dragon? At least like how big was it? You know, its age category, what elemental type?" And she just like kind of blathers on like new scholar jargon.
And even as you say that, you'd imagine. I mean, like all of us are like this. I mean, maybe even especially Menez really alert, but you hear as Menez is just like it, just from exhaustion. She's just like slumps against the side and she's totally gone.
And he'd look at you, Sienna. Big beast. I don't know its age category, whatever the hell that means.
How big? Like a size. That'll help.
Bigger than that dinosaur we saw in the water today. That's for sure. Called it. We believe it was called Tinder or something like that. They all choose ridiculous names. Tinder isn't a name; it's something you burn. Regardless, this creature is big, very big. Scar over one eye. I'm not sure what that's from, but nasty, nasty beast.
What color was it? A metallic or a chromatic? Male, female? Was it nesting? She's just like just like infinitely fixated on this subject. Just keeps lettering on away about it.
Yeah, he'd tell you it was red, and he didn't have the time to check if it was male or female. He's like that was the last thing he was looking for, essentially.
Done with her questions and everything. He probably can't answer too much. She'll kind of look a bit pleased, but also disheartened at not knowing enough. And then she'll put her book away and she'll like, "Well, dearies, I think it's not nighttime for everybody." And she'll snap her fingers and the dome goes dark.
You'd hear Hugh cursing, "Confounded sorcery! What is this nonsense? Warn somebody before you do that shit."
Reeg just goes, "Gah! That you can see in the dark. Are you blind dwarf as well as one-handed? Gah!"
And if you could see him in the dark, his hand would be reaching towards the bird to strangle it. But he kind of like crack his hand, like pull it back slowly, repressing his anger before rolling onto his side and going to sleep. Loud dwarven snores filling the night.
All right, that'll be it for Sienna.
If nobody else has anything to do or say, morning will come with a dwarven boot kicking you squarely in the ass to wake you up. One by one, he'd walk from each of you, just kind of giving you like a solid thump to wake you up. It's time to go, lads and ladies.
Rick goes, "I'm a guy!" Ah!
You'll be dinner if you're not careful, bird.
He ruffles his feather at that.
Yeah, Menez packs up her stuff and she's like she's ready to get out of this this hut and make her way down the ladder.
Okay. Well, he would head down first, and you'd hear his feet crunch into the earth below, stepping on some plants which snap and crack beneath his feet. As you follow him down to the floor, you see that kind of as you go down, you'd see that suspended up in the air above the floor, the fourth floor itself, what looks like a jaguar or some sort of other large cat is suspended in the air, assassin vines wrapped around it. Its body now emaciated and skeletal as it's been drained completely.
That's not a good sign.
Menez, as we're following Hugh, she looking up at this jaguar that's been was obviously going to be trying to take us, but was taken by something worse. She sort of pats Sienna on the shoulder, and she like nods gratefully to you.
Good. Apparently, you needed that sleep. You were out before you ever hit the ground.
I'm just gonna roll a perception check to look around and see what I see. 19.
You see that there are several vines actually attached to this one jaguar. An entire, essentially, colony of these vines have wrapped around this single being. That's how they drained it in one night. But they're all occupied with this. You don't see any other assassin vines or other carnivorous foliage.
All right, he just says to other, let's hurry up and get out of here.
He would nod. Sounds like wise counsel to me. And he kind of heft his blade and start swinging through the vines again. As you walk through the day, he was a very capable guide. He keeps you out of pretty much all danger you might run into. You stumble across a wasp nest here and there, but you're able to avoid it for the most part. And as you kind of move through the jungle, you would hear you think that you're about like maybe like 30, 40 minutes from getting there. The loud flap of wings above you, as well as shrieks and screams. And if you were to glance upwards, you'd see terrafolk flying overhead. A large swarm of them, maybe 15 or 20, moving towards Kirstabal.
Well, that's not good. Sienna will say. It appears we're not only guests for our fine feathered friends today.
What do you think, Hugh? We're what, 30, 40 minutes away? I say we step it up a little bit. And then she looks over at Akira, remembering his caution before.
We could speed up the pace for sure, lad. But, well, yeah, it comes with its own risks and complications, if you understand what I'm saying. And he looked at the rest of the party. Do you want to speed it up, or do you want to keep heading at this safe pace?
I guess we can speed it up if they might be needing our help.
And as you say that, you'd hear like more shrieks, and you'd see like another small flock fly over you, or maybe like 5 or 10 more. And as you follow them, like that one group just barely passed you, maybe 10 minutes ago or so. You'd see there's a small plume of smoke rising in the distance now.
They're obviously
Yeah,
being attacked by these terror folk.
Yeah, I'm all down for speeding up.
So is that 3 for speeding up so far?
And Sienna will she'll follow the lead of the group. So
Okay. So who's in the very back again? Is that Akira?
Yeah, that'd be me.
Okay, I want you to roll me a luck die as you guys speed it up.
Of course, I'll be the one. I got a 6.
Okay, as you're running along, kind of moving through the brush, dodging around trees and following, you finally come upon a path. But right before you do, you would just barely see this in time as you're jumping over a log, actually, following the rest of the group, hurdling this log. A vine comes down out of the tree, snaking towards you, and you barely get out of the way as it just like right past your face, in between your shoulder and your head, basically. You stumble past it, and you see that it starts to follow towards you. I'm going to need a dex save from you now.
Okay. Let's see. 22.
By some sick fortune, your feet are lost from beneath you as you land in a puddle of mud, sliding backwards, and the tendril stops right before your face, unable to reach you.
All right, we'll just easing out from its grasp to try to hurry up catch up with the others.
Yeah, and you do so, and it's like a compass point just directed right at you, unable to reach you, just kind of following every movement until you start to move away and you see it roll back up and move away from the log. You step onto the path soon, and in a couple short more minutes of jogging, you would arrive at Kirsabal. So let me hurry and change this for you a second.
Can we see anything in the from where we are?
From where you're at, as you step out, kind of out of the jungle, the area surrounding Kirsabal has kind of been cleaned out. You'd see this large plateau face with buildings jutting out of the side of it. A monastery having been constructed into its face, essentially. You see a map at the bottom. These rickety old wooden rope bridges, essentially, that connect different layers and levels. It looks very questionable to scale, but you know that you have no other choice but to follow these paths as it kind of juts out over the jungle itself, like the side of a bowl, essentially. Scaling this straight up the wall would be near impossible. But that's not the only thing that you see as you step out. You would see wheeling in the sky, Terra Folk and Arakokra battling it out in the sky above you, and scaling up the side of this wall, kind of going along these paths and moving upwards. A group of figures dressed in tribal clothing, carrying weapons. Their skin looks tattooed and dark. And as one of them turns and looks at you, roll me perception checks.
Can I roll something to recall what they would be?
You could roll nature, yeah. Or like history. History would work too.
all right.
I got 21 on my perception check.
17
Okay. Cool.
on perception.
You said I could roll.
I got 16.
Yeah, so anything higher than 15, you'd be able to see the details of this creature. But to like determine what it is, essentially, history and nature. So go ahead and roll me those, Bjorn, and I'm going to hurry and describe what you guys see.
12. Sorry.
A 12?
Yeah, 12 on nature. Sorry.
Okay, cool. So what you see as one of these tribal figures turns and looks back at you, you see that his face, these aren't tattoos as you thought they were before. It's a pattern on this person's skin, on this thing's skin. And as your eyes lock with its, you see that they're slitted down the middle and growing along its face, instead of skin, it's scales. You see that the sides of its head flare open like a cobra. And you know that these are Yuan Ti.
Okay.
Tattooed on this thing's forehead with a 17 perception as well. you'd see that there's kind of a blue upside down triangle seemingly painted on there.
Bjorn pointing at that will tell the other members of the group that he remembered among rumors that were going along in Nyanzaru, there was a talk about an undead thrall, I think, that had some sort of blue triangle similar to that. He doesn't know what it means, and he's not even sure if it's the same. Like, he might be remembering wrong, but
Sienna will remember that 'cause she's the one who blasted the ghast that had the draw, and she remembers it was some kind of like marking put upon those serving a ancient Chilton king who was like a tyrant.
all right, that's good information.
Menez draws her blade as she also remembers the run-in with the Yanti as we were trying to rescue Amala from who was captured inside a cave by two of them, actually. And lowering her body, she just starts to make her way in the direction of this rickety rope bridge, which seems to be the only way that we're going to be getting ourselves up there.
Right. Assuming the same position, Bjorn will follow along with his halberd drawn.
All right, go ahead and roll me initiative then.
$18.
15.
22.
Oh,
Okay, let me hurry and open this up so I can fill out the initiative order.
So
Okay.
just a little detail. Bjorn will have his halberd in one hand and have drawn a hand axe in his other hand.
Okay. And then 12 is a menace. Am I missing anybody?
Akira. 22.
Oh, what? Oh, 22.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got 22.
Okay, never mind then. Akira's going first. And then at the very bottom of the order with a 10. Oh, wait, no. I need to roll for Q. Oh, Q's the very bottom of the order with a nat 1. Okay. Here's initiative. So if you look at this map right here that I've got, you can see that like the buildings as they scale up along the wall, you see there's like little platforms jutting out from them. They are about maybe they're up in that first set of buildings. The majority of the group. Some of the other ones are moving up along the pathway still. But to get there, if you want to get up into close combat range, it's going to take 2 turns of moving and a couple of checks as well. So.
Well, it's gonna be bad.
Don't worry. Sienna's got some tricks.
I have disadvantage on balance dex checks because of my peg leg.
Don't worry.
Just mentioning that out loud. In the form of Bjorn cursing about heights and bridges and falling stuff.
Well, Akira, it is your turn to go. You were first.
So how much?
How far? Huh?
Yeah.
You guys took a long rest last night, so you should be at full health.
Yeah, but how far are we from there?
2 turns of movement.
Double turns or single?
Double turn. I'd say like 1 dash action and 1 normal movement would get you there.
It's about 90.
Yeah, about 90 feet.
All right.
All right. Well, I'm on dash forward then.
Yeah, dashing forward 60 feet would get you kind of like at the very base of the of this kind of looming rounded side of the plateau. It affords you a little bit of cover, but you still are going to have to climb the 30 feet to get up to the first set of buildings.
All right. Just one question, because I have a ring at jumping. So when I looked it up, it was 3 times my jump height. How would I determine that?
I believe your jump height is like, is it 10 plus your strength?
It's 10 plus strength or dexterity modifier, I believe.
Yeah, so 10 plus your strength and
That's
dexterity
a
modifier.
running leap. I think straight up is your if you're like jumping from a standing position, I think it's your
Oh.
stat,
What?
I think.
If you did
Yeah,
a
but
dash action and then a running leap, I'd let you make it to the first tier, but you still have to make the check to get there.
Okay, but I already dashed up, so that's like my turn, right?
Yeah, you could retcon if you want to, but if you just want to wait at the base, that's fine too. Not get separated
Yeah,
from all.
I'll just wait at the base.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay, so you dash up, you get down to the base of where the kind of steps leading up to these rope bridges begin. And we will go ahead and move over to Bjorn.
I'll move up 40 feet closer to them.
Before you do that, Sienna will ask you not to go so far ahead. She has a plan.
All right. In that case, I will just. Can I ready my movement to do it at the same time as Sienna?
Yeah, you could delay action at like one turn after Sienna, that'd be fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
All right, Sienna, then it's your turn.
All right. She'll move up to BR and she goes, "Okay, my friend, you're gonna have to trust me on this one.
Yeah.
Don't look down." And then she'll lay a hand on Bjorn's back, like right in between his two shoulder blades, and cast a bright, almost like light glowing spell and cast Fly on you. Go, my flying angry barbarian. All
right.
And for Bjorn's sake, target gains a flying speed of up to 60 feet for the duration. When the spell ends, the target falls, unless it can stop the fall. All right, so you have that for 10 minutes.
Okay.
And there's a concentration action on my end.
All right, perfect. Well, then,
So-
Bjorn, it's now your turn. Oh, unless Sienna wants to move, I guess.
Oh yeah, and then she'll like move up like 30.
Okay.
Okay. So I will move up 60 feet. I'll still stay as close to the ground as possible. And then I will throw out my hand axe at the closest UNT.
Okay, go ahead. Give me a raise attack.
I got 20 on the 20 to hit.
That will most definitely hit.
I'll hit for 5 damage.
Okay. Yeah, so your axe, where do you hit it with this axe?
I'm sorry?
Where do you hit it with the axe?
I'll stick in his his leg, sorry.
Yeah, so you lob this axe at this UNT. You see it bury itself in its leg, but the UNT doesn't even scream out in pain at all. It just kind of looks down at it, at its cleaved flesh with the blood welling up in the hole, and looks down at you with a sneer of anger.
All right. Using, if possible, using my free action, I would draw another axe and then use my second attack to swing another axe at it.
Okay, sure.
For 12 to hit.
And 12 will not hit.
All right, so I'll just bounce off the cliff on the side.
Yeah, the UNT, aware of this throwing technique now, just steps to the side as the axe sails past it, narrowly dodging the move. Is that it for you?
I will finish by raging. using my bonus action to rage, and that's going to be the end of my turn.
Okay. All right. So you bury this axe in this one UNT's leg. It kind of looks down at it, looks back at you, pulls it out, and just tosses it to the side. It shouts something in a language you guys don't know, and the UNT all draw bows. The first group, and they're going to all. No, it's not Draconic.
Right. I can't remember what weird language they use.
Oh, they speak a couple languages actually. Yeah, so they all draw bows. This first group is going to kind of move past the second group up along the ridge. All the people with the bows, and they're going to aim down towards your group. So there are 5 in each group of UNT. So this first group of UNT, the one that's already wounded, they're going to level their bows. I'm just going to say all at Bjorn, because the flying target is going to be a mess for them if they let him get here. So here come 5 arrows at you. So that's going to be a 23, 20, 13, 16, and 15.
So 2 hit.
Okay, so only 2 hit?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Fly
I
at
need
the
you to make...
Bjorn. Oh, good.
Sorry, go ahead. What?
I was just gonna say, fly at the Bjorn with the power of rage. Cian didn't actually cast a spell on him. He's just flying with the power of anger.
Yeah, he's got red wings. Give me a con save as well as you take these 2 arrows. So that's going to be 12 points of piercing from the arrow itself. So you're going to take half that because you're raging.
Yeah.
So, and then I need a con save from you. 2 con saves, actually.
22 for the first one and 13 for the second one.
So the first one, you're going to take half of this damage and poison. So instead of 4, you'll take 2. And then what kind of barbarian are you?
Zealot.
Okay, so you don't have the bear totem to lower it anymore. So 2. And then from the second one, you'll take full. So you'll take 4.
So 6, 8. 12 points altogether.
Yeah, 12 points total.
12 points total?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay, yeah, so arrows rain down around you. You're able to dodge the majority of them, 3 of them, in fact. But the other 2, one of them finds you in the shoulder, and the other one sinks into your thigh as you're flying through the air. You see the UNT you hit with the axe sneering as his arrow found your leg. Okay, Menace.
Absolutely. Menace takes out a shield, seeing that as this is happening, as she sprints up towards Akira, because I'm assuming that Akira then is the closest one, which is at the base.
Yeah, he's right at the base.
Absolutely. So I'll sprint up to there.
Okay. Yeah, you can post up right next to him. Being here affords you guys 1 more AC of cover because it's like at the bottom of the steps, so they can't really shoot well down them from their angle.
Absolutely. And was that a dash action that Akira did, or was it just a flat out run?
I believe it was a dash action, right, Akira?
Okay, great. So she's done.
But Menace, with your dash, it gets you 20 feet further than Akira. Because you got 40 feet movement, base movement.
Yeah, absolutely. You are totally right. So yeah, she goes as far as she can. She does
Yeah, you can make your way up the stairs then, the first set of the stairs, and then you're at the rope bridge basically.
Absolutely. So she's just got like a shield out, and she's about to, at the end of this thing for the next round, about to take her other blade out, the smaller blade. That's it.
Okay, perfect. And UNT group 2. The second group of UNT are going to step forward. You see that they kind of have these very crude kind of leather shields, which they pull off their backs. They kind of reach down to their sides and pull out these kind of like curved blades. You know them as scimitars. Very, very crude though. Like a piece of metal, essentially like rawhide strapped to a piece of wood. Not the finest craftsmanship you'd think they'd have, but that's what they're trying. That's what they have. And they'll step forward. 3 of them step forward in a line. And they're going to take the dodge action, kind of barring the path. And the other 2 behind them are going to pull spears out and stand at the ready behind him with a ready to attack for the first person to approach. So they're doing a little phalanx formation thing going on here. Hugh is going to dash action to get like halfway to the wall since he's a little dwarf. and that'll be it for them. Akira, top of the order.
All right. So how far away from him am I now? About 45 feet. So.
Yeah, so basically, if you took a normal movement speed now, you could make it up and across the bridge to the base of the shield. But you're gonna have to make a check to get across the bridge because it's pretty janky.
All right. So a dexterity check.
Athletics or acrobatics, up to you.
All right. Do acrobatics. Let's see here. 18.
Okay, yeah, easily. How do you get across this bridge so easily?
Well, being a swashbuckler, I'm always nimble and quick, so I just light on my feet, just make my way across, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like you're running just so quickly, just feather-like across this thing. You don't even break a board, even though it looks like it hasn't been used in ages. You would make it across the chasm easily, and you are now about 5 feet away. Well, let's say 10 feet, because I don't want you to run into a spear if you don't want to. You're about 10 feet away from this shield wall, essentially.
All right, so I just pull out my swords and turn.
All right, perfect. Yeah, so now you're staring face to face with these UNT. You can see them looking through the slits in these shields, these overlapping shields at you. The one standing in the back with the spears, kind of having them raised up over their head, ready to strike if you approach. Bjorn, your turn.
All right. So having wide like 60 feet, where am I to the rest of the group?
I imagine you're like right at the base of the wall because you didn't dash. So you'd be right at the base of the wall and like be like 30 or 40 feet. If you flew straight up like 40 feet, you'd be right next to the shield wall, basically.
Okay, so I'm like close to Menace and Sienna. Is that right?
Yeah, Menace, Sienna, and Akira are close to you.
But I'm confused. I don't understand how this is going. Sorry.
So like,
Wasn't he charging after the archers first? Because he went like a full 60 feet.
So the archers are behind the shield. So okay, so imagine this: like you've got the side of the wall, right? If you look at the map, you'll see it right here.
Yeah.
As you kind of come up to the wall, there's like this set of platforms up from the floor.
Yeah.
Below, right? So you're directly beneath the first set of buildings, and Akira has barely made it across that like gaping with the place with the holes in it.
Okay.
Right at the end of the building, right before you get across, like place with the gate, like the gaping holes, is where the shield wall is, and like 20 or 30 feet behind them is where the archers are.
Okay, got it. So Menace is just before the gap. Sienna is further back, and Hugh as well.
Yeah, and then Akira is across the gap.
Okay, got it. So would I be able to pick up Menace and fly her over the gap?
I'd say if you made a strength check, sure, like an athletics check, easily.
Okay, I will do that.
Yeah, because you got fly for 10 minutes, which is like what, 100 rounds or something like that.
10 minutes. Yeah, that's a lot. Okay, so I'll do that. So I'll do a strength check for 20.
Okay, yeah, easy. You could pick her up with a 20 pretty easily. So if you want to deposit her at the end of the gap with Akira, that would be like your other 30 feet because you had a 30 fly down, pick her up, 30 fly her up. But if you dashed, you could deposit her behind. It's up to you.
Behind the phalanx formation?
Yeah, behind the shield wall.
Yeah, let's do that. That sounds good to me.
Okay.
And then that's it for my turn.
Okay, so you fly down, pick up Menez, drop her off behind the shield wall, and just like lightning speed, like shoot past the archers. They kind of like are like trying to trap you with their arrows. They're having a hard time. You're moving so fast. But now we've got one in front of the wall, one behind the wall, and then two on the ground and one in the air. Anything else?
No.
Okay, Sienna, it's your turn.
Oh yeah, Alex. I don't know why. So, what does Bjorn's flying technique look like? I'm curious. I'm pretty sure you've never done this before.
He's just like screaming and like cursing about magic, but still going for it. There's more important things to be pissed about right now.
All right. And then Sienna will. How far back are the archers?
The archers are about like 20 feet behind the shield wall.
All right. So Sienna will move up to where I move. Maybe not up to where she doesn't have to cross the bridge, but like up to the bridge.
Okay.
And then, how many archers are there?
There are 5 archers and then 5 people in the shield wall.
5 archers. All right. I assume they're all clustered within a 30-foot radius, correct?
Yeah, I mean this walkway is pretty narrow, so they're clustered a bit. Yeah.
I guess now now like comrades are a bit used to seeing this little trick, Sienna will get this almost wolfish grin across her face, and she'll look to like whoever's closest to her, and she's like, "I think it's time to start this show off with a bang," and then conjure a baseball-sized orb of fire in her hand, and it will almost as if it was teleporting, but not, into the midst of the archers and detonate for 37 damage with a fireball.
So they're gonna make dex saves first. Yeah.
Yes. Dex saves, whatever. If they have a specific saving throw, they use that. If not, they use my spell check.
Okay.
That's a lot of damage.
Let's see. I'll just roll with the group, so we don't have to roll a ton. Okay, so they got. Let's see. Dex save 4. So they got a 16. Does that pass?
16. Is that their? Do they have a specific saving throw or not?
That's a dex save. Yeah.
All right. DC. My save DC is 14, so I guess they would pass.
Okay, so they'll take half that, which is 18, right?
30. Yeah, half a 37.
Yeah. So do you always round down or do you round up?
For
It's always
damage.
down, down, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was round down, so it'd be 18 points then for each of them.
Yeah.
Ouch, that is painful.
And if they're on the rope bridge, right?
No, they're standing on like a. So you see how like it becomes kind of like stone and like with beams beneath it. Like the rope bridges connect the different platforms.
Okay.
I was about to say because they would set the rope bridge on fire.
Yeah. That'd be bad for you guys. I don't think you could make it up any higher if you burn the rope bridge down.
But yeah, so they just big explosion goes off in the midst of them.
I'm gonna have the one on the edge make a deck. I'm gonna have him roll a luck die, the one on the very edge, which he proceeds to 1 and is thrown from the side, screaming into the air, falling the 40 feet to take another 16 points of damage and dying.
How badly do they all look hurt after that?
They're bloodied. They're definitely bloodied.
That means
So-
if they missed the
It would have killed them immediately.
except, yeah, you would have killed the whole bunch, man.
Yeah, so they managed to survive. One of them gets thrown off the edge and dies. The one that took Bjorn's axe dies. And so there are 3 archers left, and they're all in pretty bad shape.
I guess that'll be
Okay.
it for my turn.
Yeah, as they reel, screaming in pain, you see the charcoal remains of one of them. His skin just dried out to like a scaly blackened mess. Like when you see like a dead snake out in the road, like it's been there for a while in the sun, it just flattens. It looks like that. The other, like the group of shield men, like the shield group, are like looking in fear and horror at this display of power. And they are going to. Now they're flanked on both sides. The 2 spearmen are going to turn towards you, Menez, and the 3 in the front are going to draw swords, breaking the wall, but effectively trying to block both sides. So the archers go first, though. So the 3 archers that remain are going to shift their attention from Bjorn to you, Sienna, as that hurt a lot. Okay, so 3 arrows coming at you. That's a 19, a 16, and a 14.
Oh my, Dex shield. +5.
Oh, and what's your AC? Does that hit you?
12 plus 5 is
17.
17. So yeah, now I'm shielding it. So
Okay.
anything above a 17 hits.
So only one would hit then because it's 19, 16, and 14. Okay, so one arrow is going to hit you for max damage, dealing 12 points. Oh,
Damn.
and then I need a con save from you for poison.
All right. Ability, Constitution. 17.
Okay, that's going to be a pass. You're going to take half of this. So you'll take one more point of poison
So
damage.
13.
Yep, 13 total. Okay, yeah, the arrow just embeds itself in your side. I'm going to also need a concentration check from you, too, for the wings.
Concentrations are...
Constitution save, you have to do either a 10 or half the damage done, whichever's higher, so it's going to be a 10.
Okay. 12.
Okay, cool. You pass on your concentration save. You're still flying Bjorn. Whew! And that'll be it for you on T Group 1. As they scramble to regroup, having lost 2 of their number. Menace, your turn. The 2 spearmen turn to face you.
Yeah. So after she had been dropped and she rolls and skids and drawing her battle axe, she goes into a rage and just like leaps into the air as she tries to slice down on these 2. So she attacks recklessly. So her first one is 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and the other one is 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 20 something.
Yeah, you're definitely going to hit with both those attacks.
Absolutely. And she does D8, sorry. She does, just 1 second. She does, for the first one, first attack is that is 16, 17, 18, 19.
I'm sorry, who are you attacking?
I'm attacking one of these.
The 2 spearmen.
They're flanking, and one of them just turned around towards me. So 16, 17, 18, 19.
Yeah, 19, okay. That almost kills him. He's bloodied.
Absolute. And then the second one, she same one is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
Ouch. Yeah, that kills it outright just immediately.
Yeah, she just slices down the diagonal across his body and then just like impales him and just like tries to kick his body off the side of this axe that's been like into his midsection, and she's done.
Yeah, he just topples to the side, rolling off the edge of the cliff and falling into the jungle below. His friend is gonna like look at you in horror as you basically just insta-kill his friend, his ally, and he is going to like reach back and tap one of the other ones on the shoulder, and the 2 of them are gonna run at you. So one of them is going to try and gonna grapple you.
The advantage I have now. They have advantage with me because it's
reckless attack, right?
If they get into my 10-foot range, I have an opportunity attack I can make.
Yeah, he has Sentinel.
I would be right.
Oh, no,
yeah. One of them would step into your range and go ahead and make an opportunity attack then.
21.
Which will hit.
11 damage.
Okay, yeah, you fly by this person basically. This UNT screaming out in pain as you just rip him from the side as you pass by, blade like a guillotine extended. An avenging angel, essentially. And the 2 who have turned to you, one screams out in pain, yells several what you would believe are probably curses at you as you pass. And so I'm going to need a contested strength check, Menez, against this one trying to grapple you.
Absolute. Can I choose some athletics?
Yeah, you can take athletics or acrobatics to avoid being grappled.
If you are raging, you have advantage on your strength checks.
Super cool. So I would say that one. So 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
What's your strength modifier? Because this thing got 21 also.
Oh shit. She's got 18, so +4.
Okay, cool. So you managed to shrug this one off. The 2 of you grapple briefly on the edge of this cliff. Like kind of you're standing along the edge of this on this walkway, I imagine, between the buildings. The 2 of you are grappling. He's got a spear up, and you guys are like holding it essentially back and forth. And the other one's gonna run in and try and push you off the edge with his shield. So he's gonna shield bash you.
Fuck.
And that's an advantage, right? Because you recklessly attacked.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's going to be a 19 to hit, which I assume hits you.
He gets me totally off. I'm just so focused on the one that I'm dealing with at the moment.
Yeah, so a shield slams into your chest, knocking you 10 feet backwards. Or I mean, I guess 5 feet. That's what a shield bash is. You're going to stumble, your feet catching the edge of the lip, and fall 30 feet into the jungle. And that's going to be 3d6 falling damage. So 6 plus 4, 10 points.
10 points of damage. She just hooks her foot. She thinks she can hold it, but she just lands badly.
Can you
Yeah,
resist that or no?
It's a shield bash. I don't think you're going to resist a shield bash, do you?
He can resist the damage if he's raging, though.
Yeah, that's why I was.
Oh, the damage, yeah. Because are you raging?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you'd only take 5 then instead of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd land with a muffled thump down in the jungle floor below. Breath just out of you as you hit the ground. The other two, having dealt with the problem flanking them, are going to turn on you, Akira, and attack you. 1 attack each. That's going to be a 15 to hit and a 14 to hit. Do either of those hit you?
The 15 hit.
Okay, cool. So that's going to be with a short sword, scimitar. That's going to be 4 plus. Is it plus 4? Yeah, 4 plus 4, so 8 points of damage. You dodge the first attack. It clanks against the wall next to you, showering sparks across you. But as you kind of come up to dodge the second one, it just cuts you across the center, across your midriff, ripping through your armor and your clothing and letting a bit of blood just drip through. And that'll be it for the UNT group 2. Hugh is like huffing and puffing below. He's in a dash, making it to the top of the stairs, but not onto the bridge. He's standing next to you now, Sienna. Hands clasping his knees, breathing heavily. I've been drinking too much ale. I gotta lay it off and start working out. And Akira, top of the order.
All right, so I'm engaged with somebody, correct?
Yeah, you're engaged with 2 people.
2 people. All right, whoever's closest one. Let's see here. I'm gonna attack with my short sword, and that would be 20.
Yeah, that hits. Just to give you guys an idea, 16 for the guys with the swords and the shield and the spears, and 14 for the archers.
Right. The 10 points of damage. I get second attack. You said what? 16 for that do with the shield?
Yeah, the guys with the shield have 16 AC.
All right, so that one hit for another 10 points, so 20 points damage for the one that is closest to me.
How many points total?
20. I get 2 attacks.
Okay. This one is bloodied. The one that you've landed these 2 attacks on. He's like breathing heavily. You see that his eyes are half lidded as he kind of tries to keep standing. Anything else?
No, I'm gonna end my turn there.
Okay. Next up is Bjorn.
All right. Well, seeing Menace pushed off and falling down, Bjorn will shout in anger and then charge the group of spearmen and shield-wielding people.
Okay, perfect.
I will attack recklessly.
Okay.
So 26 to hit.
Are you trying to finish off the one you basically did a drive-by on?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, 26 is definitely gonna hit.
Wait, actually no, I'm gonna hit the other one, the one that pushed off Menace.
Okay, cool. Sure.
Okay, so that is, give me a sec. 18 damage.
And that'll kill him immediately.
All right. So my second attack will be hitting the other guy, the one I hit before.
Okay.
So that's 18 to hit.
Okay. And that'll definitely hit.
So that's 15 damage.
And that'll finish him off too.
Okay. Since I have the Great Weapon Master skill, I will have a bonus attack to attack another one.
Okay.
24 to hit.
Which will hit.
So that's 13 damage.
And that does not kill that one. He'll take the cut across the back though, howling in pain.
All right, so that's it for my turn.
Bjorn,
Okay,
the
well-
flying blender.
Yeah.
Howard.
It's a pretty effective turn.
Yeah, just like shouting and like spinning around with his halberd, chopping people down.
Yeah, the UNT kind of just balk at this, watching two of their friends go down in quick succession, and the other one taking a brutal cut across the back, reaching behind him, squeezing, trying to stop the blood from welling out in angry red tears. But he's screaming in pain now. That is Sienna's turn now.
Okay. Sienna having like yank out this arrow begins to swear in as many languages as she knows, which is quite a few. And summons another gout of fire in her hand, but instead of just chucking it, she begins like almost like both hands circling it around into a perfect orb, and then like claps her hands together, and then it appears to the archers as the flaming sphere spell. And she will use her bonus action to slam it into one of them.
So are these dex saves for them, right?
Yes.
Okay, so for the sphere appearing. Oh, do they have to make a save for the sphere appearing?
No, it's if they end their turn in the sphere, or if I directly slam it into somebody.
Oh, okay. So one of them has to make the save for you slamming it into them.
Yeah.
So since Sienna cast a concentration spell, mine ends.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I'm
shit, can I retcon that then?
Yeah,
I forgot
retcon.
you
That's fine.
I
That's
forgot
fine.
you can't do 2 concentrations.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's been so long since I played a mage.
I can just see his wings disappearing mid-flight as he's moving upward, just slingshotting him skyward. So,
So cursing about magic.
yeah, exactly.
Dead wizard.
That's why I don't trust him.
No, she'll cast grease on the archers.
Okay, so if they move, they have to make a dex save, right? Or if they start their turn in it?
If they when it's cast on them, and then when it's and if they end their turn in it. So there's an initial dex save. I guess DC 14.
2 of them go down immediately. 1 of them remains standing.
All right. And if he ends his turn in there.
Yeah, you just hear Benny Hill going on in the background, as they're trying to stand, and just slipping all over the place. It's like Greco wrestling going on over there because they're all getting all greased up. Okay,
right.
Is that it for you?
Yeah.
Okay. UNT Group 1, the archers get unsteadily to their feet, backing away from the pile of just grease. You see one of them would pull like a horn out from beneath his clothing and just blow into it. You'd see up in the sky suddenly a flurry of movement as the Terra folks start diving down towards them. The archers turn to take running leaps and jump off of the edge of this platform, their hands extended upwards. Terra folk catching them and carrying them away. And that'll be it for the archers.
All 3 of them ditch.
All 3 of them ditch.
Did the guy get back up? Both of them got back up?
Yeah, both of them got back up and they just ran and jumped off the edge, basically. Okay, Menez, your turn. There are 2 of these hand-to-hand combatants left.
Absolutely. After getting the wind knocked out of her, she gets to her feet, and how long is it going to take me to get up there?
If you took a dash action, you'd be like right up in their face.
Right, that's what she wants to do. Do I have to, obviously...
Cross the bridge? Yeah.
Yeah.
So athletics or acrobatics check to cross the bridge?
Absolutely. She does athletics. She does 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
15 is exactly what you needed to pass.
Wicked. Excellent. So as she's like just making her way across there, just her foot goes through one of these things, and she just hangs onto the side, and then she just tries to continue sprinting.
Damn it! That really is something I should have done. Fuck. Never mind.
Okay, you're sprinting towards them, running with all of your might, just trying to get there. You get there right as they like look at you. They hear the horn call. They look over their shoulder. The two of them are in a disengage. Also, turn, run, and jump off the edge of the walkway. One of them like limping and jumping off, not getting very far away from the ledge. But they disengage, so no opportunity attacks. And then they're gonna reach their hands out, get caught by the drop their weapons. They just drop the.
I have a sentinel.
Oh, they can't. Oh, that's right. Okay, which one do you want to hit?
Yeah, the closest one. The closest one that's just as he's leaping onto
The limping one.
Okay, go ahead.
She does. Let's have a look. She tries. She does. What's that? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
13 to hit.
Yeah.
They've got 16 AC.
Absolutely. So she just, as he just goes to dive like this, she just like into the air, just missing him.
Yeah, I imagine it's like it passes right behind his back, just like he feels the wind of it. And then Bjorn, you have an opportunity attack too because you got Sentinel, right?
I don't have Sentinel. I have Polearm Master. So it says if they move into my
they enter your space. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. So they disengage. They run. They jump off the edge of the cliff. One of them almost gets cut in half, barely dodging it. The Terrafolk dive down, grab them by the arms, and fly them off.
I guess.
Sorry. Go ahead. What?
As soon as like we break, with them gone, like we broke in combat, right? There's none here.
Yeah, initiative's gonna end as soon as they jump off the edge.
She's gonna shoot one of them before they get off.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I got 240 foot range on this. So how many shots can I get off?
Let me see. 240 foot range. Terrafolk can fly. If they're dashing, you can get like 2 shots off.
All right. First cast at probably the most injured one. If there's either of them are already hurt. Just
one of them is already really hurt.
24.
Hits.
18.
Hits.
Damage. 1.
Okay.
10.
One of them you see the one you're aiming at visibly slumps in the Terrafolk's arms. It looks down at him, head cocked sideways, and just drops him, and he falls into the jungle.
All right, next one. 24.
Gonna hit.
13.
It's gonna miss. So what do you get? What's your damage on the 24?
Sienna is hungry for blood.
10.
Yeah. It's 10 points.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, he's still alive, but he's bloodied now.
Can I use my inspiration to force a luck save on him to see if he gets dropped from the impact because it's force damage?
Sure, that's fine. I'll let you force that. You roll the d8.
All right. Come on. 5.
5's lucky, but not. So it's like right on the verge.
Yeah.
You'd see his body swing. One arm comes free. The other arm starts to slip. He's like dangling. But another Terrafolk flies in beneath him and grabs his leg. So now he's like hung between 2 of them. And they get away. The rest get away. The 3 archers and 1 swordsman get away. And combat is now completely over.
Almost.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. The Aarakocra, you see them wheeling above in the sky, kind of like looking down at you. And they start to like streak down towards you. There are about 30 of them. 15 would land on one side of the bridge and 15 would land on the other, surrounding you effectively. One of them steps forward. You see that his body, he's like essentially like as built as a birdman could be, I guess. He's carrying a long, like curved sword. It's bigger than a scimitar, but like not curved. It's curved, unlike a greatsword. It looks like it's a khopesh. This big, long weapon. He kind of looks down at you as he steps forward, his eyes glaring, menacing, and he looks at your group. What is your business here? And that is where we're going to take a break. Everybody go to the bathroom, get a drink. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
All right.
All right.
Anybody back yet?
I'm here, sir.
Hello.
How are you doing?
You got you made those archers jump at the best time because I was about to use prestidigitation to light the grease on fire the next round.
Yeah, that would have been real bad. Yeah, they decided to skedaddle. They didn't want to face off with an adventuring party. You weren't a foreseen enemy. That fireball, man, nasty. Ew.
Lucky save.
That fireball hurt though.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was a crazy amount of damage for area attack.
Yeah, dude, they
Maximum-
killed that save dead. All three of them immediately. All five, I guess, actually.
The max damage for just a level 3 48. If you roll it at all of a 4, it goes up another d6 to a maximum of like 50 something.
Sheesh.
I can technically cast 3 of those before I have to redo my spell, refill my spells.
Oh man, yeah, that was painful. They weren't expecting that.
Part of me was kind of hoping they were on one of the wooden bridges and it would just blow out the bridge from under them.
Yeah, I don't think they're that stupid, but I mean, try firing a bow on a swinging rope bridge. That's like a bad idea. So how you guys feeling? You guys get a little bit tenderized?
That was excellent, man.
Bjorn, how does Bjorn like flying?
Not very much, but he liked chopping.
Yeah, it's like a flying blender.
Huh.
Well, I remember when he said like the disadvantage on deck saves and such. I was like, I got to do something to get him across.
Yeah, for sure. Because every single time you fail crossing that bridge, you essentially take 10 bludgeoning damage from falling. So that would really suck.
I was
All
just going
right.
to teleport across it. Because
Well, I mean, yeah, you
they're
could do
bullshit.
that. Let's go ahead and do like character intros and plug anything you want to. If you have a channel or if you want something, if you want to plug something, we'll go ahead and start with Sienna and end with Akira, and then the two in between can just go in whatever order you want.
Hello, I'm Matthew. I'm playing Sienna Renwood the Wizard. And it's really fun being a wizard. Plug is just if you're not already a part, come join the March of Annihilation group. Come play some D&D with us. It's really fun. We're all the coolest nerds here.
Right. Well, I am playing Bjorn the Barbarian. And yeah, I definitely agree with Matthew. It's a lot of fun.
Yep. I'm playing Menez, Barbarian, and yeah, absolutely nothing to plug. Just great game.
And I'm Thomas. I'm playing Kira, Swashbuckling Rogue, and yeah, we're having a great time here. So come join us.
All right, cool. As always, if you're watching this on my channel, it's on a roll, ROLE, like roleplay. I'm DM Ty. Thanks for tuning in. And this is a lot of fun. This is my first March of Annihilation game I've ran so far, so I'm enjoying it. I think Cholt is very, very cool. I'm liking the characters, and I'm liking the way this has all been playing out. So kudos to Crisby and Awave on the channel, TheRPGinger. Go and check that out, all one word. He is running a lot of great games on here, and this was his idea to start. We're doing this West Marches style. So there are a lot of other games on his channel. I'm trying to remember who else is running games.
Dan has some on the March of Annihilation channel.
And then has Dan Schmel run anything yet?
Yes.
What's his channel? Has he run it through a channel of his own, or is he running through March of
Dan
Annihilation also?
Schmel. I think
Okay.
it's just,
Yeah, whatever it is, I'll try and figure it out. I'll post it in the link, the information, so you guys can go watch it. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get back into this and see if I can kill these guys. The Arakokra have landed on either side of you. They are dressed, as you see in this picture, kind of flowing white robes that allow their wings to spread behind them, kind of rippling in the wind. They're carrying these weapons. You see several of them are carrying like long spears, halberds. Many of them, and then a couple have like these kopesh. They're kind of like looking at you, eyeing you, heads cocked to the side, trying to figure out who you are and what you're doing here. They look at the UNT bodies around you, and they've decided to at least listen, it looks like.
Absolutely. Menez puts her hand in and takes out one of these red feathers, which was taken from the plumage of Nefea, and she offers it forward like this, and she says, "My name is Menez, daughter of the bear from the rainforest," and she points to the side, to the horizon of the great bear. Says, some time ago, we came across Nefea, one of your own, she says, and she pauses.
You'd see them look at you. This one who's standing forward further than the rest, obviously in charge to some degree, weighing you, looking you up and down, looking at the feather. He's going to roll an insight check to see how much he believes you. He would slowly nod. He'd look at you and he'd look at Sienna, Menace, and Sienna.
Sienna will nod yes, and she'll like reach under her hat and pull out her feather as well.
Nasir spoke of you. Where are the other two? I do not know their names. I do not remember, but have they perished?
No, they just could not make it upon this journey with us. They were otherwise preoccupied.
I see. Well, the current hostilities, and he kind of like lower his head, have seen fit to take Nathir from us, as they have taken many of our kind. And he'd kind of look over his shoulder towards the 14 behind him and the 15 behind you. We are of the few that remain.
Menez lowers her hand with the feather, and she just nods slowly, and then she says, and what of Ashara? And she looks behind her and at the group that were in front. Nefir had said that Ashara was amongst you also.
Ashara is in the prime of her years, aged. It is difficult for her to fly to battle now. She awaits higher up in the temple.
Why are these terrafolk attacking you, and especially the Yuan-Tis?
The Terrafolk have always been our enemy. They've hated us since time memorable. But we have always managed to at least delay hostilities and stalemates, and them knowing that they cannot kill us all, exacting a heavy price with each battle. The Yuan-Ti are a recent development. I do not know where they come from or why they have sworn allegiance to the Terrafolk, but, well, you can see the devastation it has caused. And he kind of waves a hand to the entrance to one of the buildings nearby. And if you were to peer inside, you'd see bodies wrapped in kind of like essentially like not white canvas, but kind of like a white silk draped over their faces, wrapped around their bodies, taloned feet poking out from below them. You know that these are the fallen, essentially.
What do you know of that symbol of the UNT on the UNT's foreheads?
We do not speak his name anymore. A great betrayer of the people. And he hesitates to say more. You can try and persuade him if you wish.
Does somebody wants to try other than me? Because I'm not very good at persuading people.
No, Menez probably said to you in the past about something to do with the sign was a sign of like criminals and stuff, but she doesn't want to push the conversation in that way.
All right, but say Carrier will persuasion check to see if I get more information. And I got a 21.
Yeah. What do you say to persuade this leader, whose name you don't know, to speak more?
For us to help you, we need to know what we're going to face and to how to face it to help you guys with your troubles.
He would sigh. We do not know why the UNT bear his mark. They were never one of his favorite people. They never bore anyone's favor, always hated by the descendants of this land. He'd look down at his like sword, which he's carrying, almost reverently, kind of held in his hands, in both hands. We call him the tyrant of the dead. We call him traitor, betrayer. That is what he's known as now. But his name was Ras Nasi. He was once an ally. I know not what turned his heart.
Sienna will kind of look to this leader, kind of like clutching the part under, like a bit under her arm where she got hit by the arrow. She's like, "Yes, with all the pleasantries. I guess, may I know your name, and then can we get inside somewhere so we can deal with our wounds? Preferably out of this bug-infested air."
Yes. Where are my manners? Please. I'm sure that Lady Ashara would wish to see you. It is not my place to discuss these things with you here. She is in charge. Please do not assume that I am. I'm but a humble servant. And he'd look the other Arkokra and nod to them, and they would take flight. The others behind you taking flight as well. And he would turn and walk with you. Roll me like a history check.
Can Sienna do that? And she'll ask the group.
Yeah, sure. Sure, go ahead.
The smartest
Anybody
20 here. 26. 20.
Was it a natural 20?
Yep.
Well, you know this tradition perfectly. When an Aarakocra is willing to walk with you rather than take flight, it's a sign of respect in many ways. It's a sign that at the very a 2, nice. Yeah, you don't know this. You're like, oh, she's walking with us. He's walking with us. You know that.
Notice, I'm just like, okay, well, he's walking. Why not?
Yeah, you know that this sign of respect is probably like the first step in being considered like a brother, essentially, of the Aarakocra, or a sister. So like the fact that he's walking with you is pretty big.
She will, bow, like do a little curtsy to us as being a noble. She respects, respectful traditions as such, and kind of, usher them along with us.
So he would lead you up the walkways, passing empty dwelling after empty dwelling, only filled with the bodies of the dead, essentially, until you reach kind of like that second tier where that little tower thing is. He'd lead you up into that tower and then take you up a set of very steep stairs carved into the wall itself. Arriving at the monastery, this big building, as you can see in the picture that juts from the wall, huge. He leads you up to this like a large metallic door, which he effortlessly kind of pushes. Its hinges not even squeaking, obviously well maintained, revealing a large room. As you kind of step into this room, here, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Okay. So as you kind of step into this room, you would see that, oh man, I covered the freaking room itself. There we go. That works. You see that stepping into the very first floor, there's like a large table and several other just basically things sitting around like an armoire and like a display case of some kind, holding within it what looks like a ceremonial dagger of some kind of carved in the shape of a feather with serrated edges being wings. You see several other basically just artifacts is what they look like along the walls, hanging from tapestries and along on top of desks and stuff. She would lead you kind of walking along here to the next door and into a large open room, kind of carved into the floor is this like maze looking symbol. And standing directly above it are three people. The first you'd see is an elderly Aarakocra, red feathers with golden kind of plumage, standing, talking to two individuals who seem fixated on her. They're two younger people, a young girl and a young boy, kind of dressed in what looked like regal finery, paying attention to her aptly, just listening to everything she has to say with a rapt attention. They would all turn and look at you as you guys walk in.
The two listening to her Aarakocras as well?
No, these are the two right here. Two humans, essentially, two Chulteans. Your guide, this captain of some kind, would kind of bow his head, falling to one knee before Ashara and these two. Lady Ashara, teacher. And he would turn to the two humans, heirs. I bring before you those who aided us in this battle and our great victory. Then he'd stand back to his feet, step to the side to allow you to enter.
As we enter, one of the first things Menez does is the same. She holds forward the feather and bows in a similar fashion that she saw the other Aarakocra do before Ashara.
Bjorn will just look around, slightly confused about what the courtesy or manners that these people have, and not really bothering to do anything, but not being insulting either, just standing there and watching what's going on.
Sienna will, take her hat off, pull out the feather as well. Not like fully bow like Menez does, but she'll do her noble curtsy. Wait to be introduced.
Yeah, Ashara would turn and look at you along with these two individuals. You would see that these feathered mantles they're kind of wearing like capes, essentially. Hanging around their neck is a big metallic medallion with this same kind of like maze symbol carved into it in gold. They would turn and look at you, just like eyeing you warily, taking a step back and letting Ashara step forward to speak with you.
Is it possible, just before we start speaking, could we do whether it's like religion or history, to see if we've seen these symbols in in the past in any way to have any understanding of what they could be?
Religion, history would be fine. Yeah, probably religion or history. One of those two.
So she goes for she tries religion. Actually, she gets -1, and she's thinking about she gets a 3. So there's no way it comes to mind.
I get the 20.
Yeah, so the 20. You would know exactly what this symbol is actually. It's not an uncommon thing, but it's fallen out of favor. Lots of people don't pay attention to or worship it anymore. It's called the Maze of Uteo. And Uteo, you would know the teachings as well that are associated with this religion. Essentially, Uteo taught that at the end of everyone's life, they would have to go through what's called the Maze of Life, and essentially face themselves and track their own path along their own personal maze, their own spiritual maze. And in doing so, if they succeeded in tracking their maze of life, go and return to him, live with him. But if they failed, they would essentially be cast away and ignored and not allowed into his presence, essentially. And that's what that symbol is. It's the Maze of Uteo.
Yeah, Menez just makes a mental thought of asking her fellow companions what later on what that is, because she just can't think. It doesn't come to mind any of this. Well, actually, what it is. And yeah, she actually waits as Ashara approaches, not knowing what custom is properly it's done.
Yeah, she would approach you, kind of walking slowly, steadily. You see that her plumage and her feathers are kind of they look old and worn out. She looks like a very, very aged Aarakocra, however that appears. Like when like birds are sick, essentially their feathers look like more fuzzy than like firm. It's like that. And she would slowly approach you guys across this symbol kind of engraved into the ground, and stop before you, looking at this guy, this captain, and who would step forward and like whisper a couple of things to her. And she would nod to them, and then look at you all with discerning eyes, piercing eyes, kind of staring at each of you in turn and memorizing your faces, what you're wearing, how you're standing. It almost feels like she's like pulling you apart with her gaze. It's very strange, but like at the same time, you can tell that she is very intelligent and very old. I am informed that you have come because you carry one of Nasir's feathers. Is this correct?
Menez says yes. Nianzaro, the whole of Chult is under this spreading death curse. This is why, in one way or the other, all of us have been gathered to fight against this. And in so doing, we've gone many times in different eras of Chult to just find ways to put an end to this curse. On one of our journeys, and she looks towards Sienna, we came across Nefer, and then she pauses for a second, and then she says, he said he would be able to possibly aid us, and he would put in a good word to you if we were ever able to make it to this monastery.
And then Sienna will kind of chime in as well, very, politely, that was not only our only. So we were also here to investigate claims that I assume those two were being held here, but it would seem they are definitely not under duress. So that would solve much of the reason why you were here.
Yeah, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say one thing. It's just when you say that, though, because we haven't actually spoken, Menez shoots you a sharp look when you say that. Just that.
Yeah,
gives her like a knowing look, like, come on, I got this.
Yeah, as you say this, like you point out the two standing back behind Ashara, she'd visibly stiffen. You'd see that her posture becomes a little bit more hostile. Her Talon, her face would clench as you'd say this. Very visible signs of anger. And as you say, we thought they were under duress, but it's good to see that they're not. She would slowly deflate a little bit, becoming a little bit less angry. They are not under duress. They are guests of our home. And she would look around at the place around you, the beautiful architecture, very beautifully carved stone, gold inlays engraved into the walls and the floor, beautiful mosaic ceramic tiles of marble covering the floor itself. Just a beautifully maintained place, very ancient, very old. As you are guests as well, I will extend to you guest rights if you would wish to stay the night. As for your issues in Neon Saru, I cannot say how effective and helpful will be. We cannot even leave our home.
Why is that?
Well, as our home is built into the side of this plateau, the Terra folk have seen it just to take upon themselves the top of the plateau. They do not allow us to fly further than the jungle canopy before they descend upon us. And if we try and go from the ground without being spotted, the Yuan Ti pick off our number. We are hostages in our own home.
Your captain has mentioned an individual named Ras Nasi. How is he? What's his role in all this?
Ashara's beak would snap in anger several times you say that name. Rasnisi. She would just shake her head, face and eyes, visibly saddened and angry at this name. He was once a hero. I do not know all of the lore, the legend. It's been a very long time. But that man might have almost single-handedly brought down the whole of Cholt because of his hubris. We do not speak his name. He is a betrayer and a scoundrel, a fiend, a monstrosity that deserves nothing more than to die. And even that might be too good for him.
But he still lives?
I do not know if he still lives or not. I believe that he was killed. He was defeated in combat against the Yuan Ti many, many, many years ago, long time. His undead army supposedly disappeared with him. I do not know what it means that they walk again, though I do not hope that it is that he was returned. Perhaps they just were sequestered away somewhere, though that would be too good for us, considering everything that's happened as of late. I cannot tell you if he's alive. I believe he is dead, though.
You said he was defeated against the Yuan Ti, but they bear his symbol on their forehead. That doesn't make any sense.
I do not know. The Yuan Ti coming here, bearing the symbol, is a recent occurrence. It is all new to me. We used to be able to go freely. As I said, the Terra folk feared us. We did not seek conflict, but they did not allow us to live peacefully. Now, they dog every single wing beat, every footstep.
Sienna will ask her, or let's say, we recently cleared out the fire fingers and the whole nest of terrafolk there. Where are they coming from then? That was the only known brood of them.
Though it might have been the only known one, that does not mean it is the only one. I'm sure that they have broods all over this island. They are a blight, a pestilence. I would love nothing more than to see. And she kind of stops herself and calms herself. No, I do not wish to see them dead. I just wish to be left alone by them.
I guess and Sienna will almost tapping Mendez on the shoulder, remembering well, you said there's not much you can do to help, but we might be able to help you. And then she looked at the fairy Nafir said that you could aid us with a prayer or a ritual called the Dance of the Seven Winds, or something like that?
The Dance of the Seven Winds. This is an ancient ritual. Was not Nasir's place to tell you this, but I forgive him as he's passed on, and he deserves our forgiveness, having died in battle, aiding us. The Dance of the Seven Winds is old. It is not a ritual that I have the power to share with you, as we do not have the components necessary. If you were to find a certain chalice, it is called. Let me find it real quickly. My goodness. The chalice of Chigakare. If you were to find that item and a few other things among them, though that would be the most difficult, we could perhaps aid you in that regard. Though it would not be my ritual to perform, it would only be for the heiress. And at this, the young woman would step forward, and the little boy also next to her. May I introduce to you Heiress Mawaksanare and Na? And she kind of nod to the two of them. And you see that they step forward and they're kind of studying you very curiously. They have been here among us for quite some time, living among our people, afforded our protection and our food. We have been doing what we can for them.
Who are they?
Menez says, why have rumors surfaced in Nyanzaru that they are prisoners, that you are prisoners here? She says to Wanaki Sonari.
They would kind of look at Lady Ashara for like permission to speak or do anything, and she would just kind of look at them and nod, like kind of like urging them to like do it, like you can do and say what you want to, basically. Mawak Sonara kind of step forward, looking at the two of you, at the four of you, I guess. Here, let me put the name inside the chat for you guys. She would step forward, Mawak Sonara, and kind of look at you. We are not prisoners here. Our parents, in their last act before dying, assigned us or gave wardship of us to Ashara. And she would look over at Ashara and then look back at you. I don't know who is spreading these lies, but I'm sure we have enemies. I'm sure we have people who would see you murder these fine people and take us from them.
Do you mind if I ask, who are your parents?
And she would kind of like frown at this. Like you see tears kind of well up in her eyes. She kind of like shake her head, like wiping them away before looking back at you. My father, well, his name was Omek. He died when Cholt fell. He was killed by the Terrafolk. As for my mother, I do not know. She disappeared, died supposedly before I can even remember her. My great-grandmother was the last queen of Cholt. Her name, I don't know if it will mean anything to you, but was Napaka.
Sienna.
How long ago was that?
Okay.
Sorry.
So Sienna will say, like, I'm not too strange to the ways of politics, being of noble birth, but why have you not tried to claim your throne? Is it simply lack of resources or will to try?
Well, as you can see, our protectors are small in number. We can basically only protect our home. I'm sure that if the other kings and queens of the world knew of our plight, they would come to aid us. They owe us as much, I'm sure. And she looked down at Na, like reach out and take his hand and squeeze it between her own. But yes, we are held prisoner in our own lands, in our own home. And our home is kept from us.
Is it by the merchant princes? Are they the ones who have forced you to be sequestered out here?
the merchant princes, and she says it's kind of like with like an angry snarl almost, owe me fealty. They do not own this land. They do not even own the docks they claim to make their merchant princes wealth from. They are my subjects, and they owe me fealty. And if they knew, I'm sure that they would come to our aid.
And the flaming fists?
And her eyes were kind of like narrow, like she doesn't know that name. She doesn't have no idea who that is.
Sienna will say, the new saviors, and she'll like visibly do air quotes, of this land who have taken up residence in what I assume is your city and have pretty much set themselves on the symbol of authority.
They would not dare, would they?
They
Do
would.
they?
They would. You've not met many sword coasters, have you?
I have not met any humans. I have lived here practically my whole life.
We're an awfully ambitious bunch, unfortunately. They saw an opportunity.
And it says, I heard rumors also that they were in some way heirs to Chult.
We, and she says this very clearly, punctuating every single word with an angry flare, are the heirs to Chult. No one else. The only surviving members of the royal line, as far as I'm aware. They own nothing.
If we were to get word to the other kings and queens, I wonder if that could help you. I wonder if they would come with the things that are happening at the moment.
Roll me a history check to see if you know anything about the relationship between Chult and the other kingdoms.
She probably knows squid. She rolls like
I already have pretty much in my head what Sienna thinks, but we'll see if she actually remembers or not.
Yeah.
What'd you get, Menace?
11.
That's okay. So what'd you get, Sienna? That's not enough.
23.
She seems to have a very high opinion of herself. Throughout the history of ever, Chult has been considered like a backwater island, essentially. Like, until recently, people probably didn't even know there was a king or queen of Chult. Like, they've very much so kept to themselves. How she knows about these other places, you have no idea. But you highly doubt that they would come to aid a king/queen. They would probably just come to steal her lands.
So I guess Sienna will say, now, being of noble birth, my father and my mentor are both close associates to Lord Neverember of the city-state of Neverwinter. If it would put you at ease, I could put in a word with them and the Lord's Alliance, but pray tell, I cannot promise they will do so out of the kindness of their heart. The Sword Coast and the Lord's Alliance are a bickering bunch and opportunistic to the core. They could very well send a fleet much greater than the Fists or the Princes could muster, but you might not like the result.
Her eyes will kind of narrow at this as you say this, and she kind of just wave her hand. The principalities of the Sword Coast are small and inconsequential. They will do nothing of the sort.
She's like, you've never seen Neverwinter then? It's been a long time. It would seem since news has reached here.
How old do they look?
Like, she looks like she's probably in her late teens, early 20s, and Na looks like he's like 10.
Oh god, so Sienna's like much older, like a good bit older than her.
Yeah. They obviously haven't been in contact with like the outside realms in a very long time.
She's like, I can put in the word. I could petition both the lords of Neverwinter, Baldur's Gate, Luskan, the freeholds, if that would please you. Your Highness, but I cannot promise how much aid they would send and how much it would cost.
You look at Ashara, and Ashara would kind of look back at her, and she would nod to Ashara to could give her, duties to delegate in this manner, like to speak freely with you. First, we would need to know where they stand. I do not know the size of their armies or their dispositions towards Chult, but we can speak more of this at another time, I'm sure. But you said that you'd be willing to aid us.
Yes.
Are you certain? I cannot guarantee the safety of your members.
We wouldn't be in Chult, dearie, if safety was our number one priority.
She would look at all of you, and then look back at Kadesh. Well, whoever you choose to fight, we would just need you to take on one of the opponents and destroy their camp. Get them out of here. And then perhaps we can speak more, deliberate over a potential alliance. The Terra folk are on the plateau above. They have larger numbers, but they are not nearly as skilled as the Yuan-Ti. The Yuan-Ti are down in the jungles below. There are fewer, but as I said before, they are more skilled, more cunning, and dangerous. Who would you wish to deal with while we deal with the others?
Sienna will... Oh, go ahead.
Bjorn will just shrug off, looking like it really doesn't matter to him, and whatever opponent stands in front of him, he'll just slash down.
Sienna will kind of pull a little, over here, kind of, to the, and she'll start she'll look to Manez, pointing no, you know what the Terror folk like to try to do if we went all the way up there to fight them. They would be physically less skilled and capable fighters, but the air is an advantage that they fundamentally have.
Bjorn will say, I don't like flying.
She's like, I could tell that, dearie. Then she'll...
Akira just wants to chime in and say if we fight the Yukanti, we might be able to find out why they bear the mark of the unnameable.
She's like, true, they are much smarter than the Terra folk, but that intelligence comes at an increased danger. Yuan-Ti, from what I remember, are very agile, very skilled combatant, magically gifted. If we fight them, there'll be less, but it won't just be slings and arrows pelted against us.
Well, they didn't seem that dangerous, and I'd rather be on the hard ground than up in the air.
True. I believe the only reason the Terra folk are assisting the Yuan-Ti is because they're emboldened by them. Like she said beforehand, they gave them a tentative peace, knowing the Aircroaker's higher skill at arms.
Menez puts a hand over her blade, and she says to Bjorn, I came across the Yuan-Ti some time back when we were trying to rescue Omala, and their use of magic was... and she looks towards Sienna. It says they can be very lethal. So even though it's low numbers, and even though I would not like to fight on top of the plateau for fear of being dragged off the edge of this plateau, yeah, I'm not too sure which one is best to choose.
At the mention of a magic, Bjorn will have kind of like a slight shiver, but then he'll turn around and point Sienna with his chin and be like, we got the trickster here. We should be fine.
She's like, oh, I'm flattered, but... And then, quick pause. Can I do a Arcana check to try to remember the types of magics and shit Yuan-Ti might be capable of?
Sure, go ahead and roll me Arcana.
24.
Yuan-Ti are devious combatants. They're very skilled at manipulating the mind, psionics specifically. Though many of them have sold their souls essentially to eldritch beings to have access to darker arts.
She'll relay this information that not all of them are capable spellcasters, as we saw. Most are just lowly versions. Their spellcasters are quite powerful, having either their innate psionic uses, and I assume probably the word psionics flies like clear over everybody's head.
And this just brings up shortly that you can see that as we're talking, Menez is more and more preferring to fight up on the plateau than down, even though she says if the Terrafolk, if the Arakroka go into the jungles, they have, I'm assuming it's going to be harder for them to fight, especially because they of course use their wings as part of their fighting tactics.
And
they're
then,
more used to fighting the
But
terror.
the last thing she says is she reminds Bjorn, because I believe you were with us, and also but she says anyway that you remember when we
On the Misty Cliff.
no the last place when we were looking for where the werewolves were, the tiger wolves,
Yeah,
the treasure, we were on that treasure hunt, and we saw Sienna just disappear and appear somewhere else. I don't know what magic you were using, Sienna, but
that was the spell known as Misty Step, dearie.
he says these Yanti are able to do this Misty Step also, from what I've experienced.
And she'll kind of, like wiggle her fingers, a little bit of magic, magical spark experience. I can, to a limited ability, counteract perhaps the more dangerous of their spells they might cast at us. Now, and she's like, hold on, and she'll like literally just like lean her head back from this like football huddle, like, whichever group we attack, is there any possible way you could lend additional numbers to us, or no?
They'll need it for themselves, I'm sure, Vanessa says. We choose one or the other.
Whoever you choose to fight, I will send Kadesh with you. And she'd look behind you at the Arakoka captain standing there. But he is all I can spare. I will need the rest to fight alongside me at whatever other enemy we face.
She's like, that's one more.
Seems like a mighty enough warrior. And then Bjorn will turn around to the group and just shrugs and say, I'll leave the decision to you.
Menace will kind of like end the conversation with, I honestly think perhaps the Yanti might be a bit of a better decision, only because with many Terrafolk are probably up there, and she'll like lean over again, like, can we get a rough estimate of the Terrafolk? No, you wouldn't have to know how many are up there.
She would kind of look at Kadesh, who would kind of like look like back at her, and like you seem like kind of like counting in his head a little bit, like thinking about past battles. I would believe, and he kind of speak from behind you, that there are about perhaps 60.
And she will, and like just like kind of bug-eyed, and any rough estimate of the Yanti?
A small war band, though skilled. After the number you cut down, maybe 20. Though the way I hear it, their leader is rather prideful. Perhaps we could use that to our advantage.
And she'll like look at me and it's like, we barely made it past 6 of them without getting thrown off the cliff. I do not have enough flying spells to keep us from plummeting forever. She's like, 20 is better than 60.
Bjorn will hit the ground with his halberd and say, this will help the pride of that UNT captain.
Menez cracks her back as she swivels, and she looks towards Akira and says, the decision, I guess, then is yours. The balance is tied. You decide.
Yeah, I believe that you can't probably be a better decision.
UNT.
Very well.
I guess. Oh, I'm sorry. But with my 20, that 24 on the Arcana, when it comes to like knowledge of UNT, she knows they're devious, but are they also like cowardly as well to an extent?
Yuan Ti are very, very proud, though they do have a set of like honorifics which they follow pretty closely. One thing, roll me a history check.
All right.
To see if you know
20.
this about the Yuan Ti. 20. Okay.
Smart as hell today.
Nice. Well, one thing you know about the Yuan Ti, though, when it comes to leadership among them, that if you can challenge a captain, a leader of theirs, to combat, and if you win, you can ask basically one thing of them. As long as it like, let me see, the one thing you can ask of them, as long as it like doesn't directly interfere with their goals, basically, you can ask of them. Which you presume means you could probably ask them to leave.
She looks to, Menace and Bjorn, the two beefiest of the beefcakes here. They're like,
Menes smiles.
accept your duel.
Menes smiles and says, "If there's going to be anything challenging," and she pokes you in the chest, says, "You're going to be doing it." She says and smiles.
Bjorn is gonna have a wicked grin all over his face. Hungry for blood.
Read what I said in the chat too. I put
yeah.
something in there, a little piece of information.
Oh, Sienna just gets a very almost y'all kind of look at her because Rig's sitting on her shoulder too, like an almost unnaturally devilish grin on her face, and she just looks to Rig, looks to y'all, looks to Rig, like, I think it's your time to shine, dearie.
Farewell, Birdman. We're going down in the jungle.
She's like, Rig, I need you to summon up the entirety of that little assholeness you have in that feathered body. And you are going out to insult this snake with all of your little being.
To take on all of us.
You might be able to convince him if he's prideful.
That would be fantastic.
Ashara would raise his hands also. Raise her hands. Be like, wait. You've already pushed them off for the night. They're not going to attack again. You look wounded. She look at the rest of you. If you need to rest, please. This is a matter that can be solved in the morning.
Very well.
Absolutely.
All right.
So you guys are going to take a long rest and stay the night with them?
Yeah, and she'll look to Ashara. She's like, there's somewhere I can wash this damnable blood off.
Yes, please. And she'd kind of like point upstairs. There's a natural spring that comes out of the side of the plateau that we've turned into a washing room upstairs. If you wish to, you may use it.
And Sienna will just like immediately just like headline up to it, and Rig will like stand guard at the door, like all like Birdly Noble trying to copy the Aarakocra as much as a raven could do.
What does everybody want to do tonight in preparation for tomorrow? Are there any conversations that need to be had?
I don't think so. Hugh is still. Hugh is still with us. Yeah.
Yeah, he was with you guys. He was just standing quietly through this whole exchange.
Okay. No, just no. I don't have anything.
I guess if it's like later on after the bath, we'll ask you like, you joined in with that fight with the Yuan Ti before. Will you be there with us?
Who are you talking to?
Hugh.
Oh yeah, Hugh would nod. Of course, you've paid me to be here, lad. Or I guess, laddie. Sorry.
She counts. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of us against, I'm assuming, is a Yuan Ti pure breed. We should be able to do this if we goad him into just fighting ourselves, play on his pride. A few pointed words from very well speaking pirate here in Rig.
Well, whatever you decide to do, I'm right behind you. I've got you covered. And he kind of like lift his maul and kind of put it on his shoulder, give it a couple one-handed swings, and then smile, and kind of like seat himself on his bed, the bed that they've given him, and kind of like pull out like a book. I surprised he was reading a book as he kind of starts flipping through it.
I'll just say, you guys think we can find a drink somewhere in this place? Got a whole night to spend.
I'm sure they have something around, she says. And before she beds down, if Shara is still around, if she's not, she's not. But if Shara's still around, she would just ask her if she knows of any of the whereabouts of the chalice of Chanakari.
And she would just smile as you say this, the chalice of Chakakari. But the chalice, it was lost with the fall of Cholt. Last I heard, and she would kind of like rifle through some of these, like you see some scrolls kind of like in like an alcove along the wall. She kind of like rifle through them and come back out holding one, and she'd put it down before you on like a table and like spread it out, weighting the corners of each. And you'd see essentially like it looks like it's like a skull, but the skull itself is it's not a human skull. You see that the skull it's like a dragon skull, but the eyes and the mouth have been like the bottom jaw's been removed, and the head like cavity area has been like cleared out essentially. The eyes have been filled in, the nose, everything, and it's kind of like gilded and like gold and encrusted in these jewels. It's very fancy looking essentially. And the inside of it has been like essentially like metallurgy, like this metal has been kind of like melted on the inside of it to give it like a goblet like appearance. This is what it looks like. Last I heard, somebody might have gotten a hold of it from one of the old freeholds, perhaps Razan, taken it, and it might be sitting in somebody's antique collection. I don't know. Maybe in Port Nyansaru, one of the merchant princes I've heard is a great collector of artifacts.
She nods and thanks her and says, thanks for your hospitality. As she looks around again at this, just their place, says, I guess we'll get some rest and before tomorrow's. And she leaves and joins the rest and beds down.
Yeah, Nashara would watch you go. You could feel her discerning eyes on your back. And Kadesh, having heard your request, Bjorn, you'd find like a large like a jug sitting outside the door a couple minutes later. And as you smell it, you smell a very distinct whiff of alcohol, though it smells a little bit off. And if you were to drink it, you'd see that it tastes kind of like a nutty kind of fruity mix. And if you were to ask, you know that it's like fermented like nuts and fruit kind of stirred in with this alcohol. It gives it kind of like a woody taste. Very interesting tasting.
All right. Well, that's not that bad. You guys help yourself.
She waits for Bjorn to take a big old jug, and then she goes, "You know how they ferment that, right?"
No clue and don't care.
The rig will go, "Gah! They spit and chew, spit and chew. Gah!"
Okay, so you guys enjoy this this like pine nut liquor.
Refrains.
Yeah, you refrain. It actually has a very good taste to it, like a very good aftertaste too, a very lasting. And you guys drink into the night before falling asleep. Everyone go ahead and take a long rest. And we're going to take a 5-minute break again before coming back to finish this off.
All right. So long rest, I get all my spells back. Oh, he already gone. This is gonna suck.
What, you think it's gonna be that bad?
Have you ever fought Yanti before?
Just now on the cliff.
They come in like 4 varieties. Yanti, because there's pure bloods, which is what we fought. They look like humans with like slightly snake features. There's the Malacin, which are still relatively humanoid in shape. but a much more snake-like, like have an actual like snake head and a tail.
Yeah.
Aberrations, which are almost kind of like just like a big snake with arms. And they get the more snake-like they get, the more powerful they get.
Yeah, I think I read them in the what was it, the Forgotten Realms? I believe it was. Not Forgotten Realms, the Tomb of Foes.
I'm assuming it's either an abomination or the one before that, the mostly snake.
Guys, the dragon, if it's bigger than a T-Rex, this is not going to end well.
It's an adult.
At least.
Yeah.
Y'all's going to have your hands full with that dragon.
I
gotta say, if you need an extra player, I'm down for it, but I don't know how much up I'm going to be with my 2 short swords.
An
I don't know
adult.
how anybody's going to be able to do anything.
But yeah, do you know, the only thing I think is this, right? Because because I looked at it and I know they had said, you got to be careful what you choose, which we have to be careful what we choose, because it's not balanced and stuff like this. But then I was thinking, man, when you think of things like The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, it's like any situation, even any situation that is absolutely impossible, there is a possibility.
Yeah, and he's off on an epic quest. He doesn't care. He wants it.
For any other kind of dragon, we could maybe deal with it. But it's a red dragon. They don't deal. They are literally the most arrogant creatures in existence. They are the end-all, be-all. Like, they don't make deals. They make demands.
But there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way, man.
I just don't want Sienna to get killed by a fucking red dragon at level 6.
Me neither. So.
Yeah, like I said, I'm down for it if you all need an extra player. I like to get it. I like to get dragons too.
Their comic, she'll sell all your asses up the river.
Yeah, I'll say if y'all do it without me and like succeed, I want to buy a dragon's tooth.
We can't. I don't think we could even hurt it. The thing has AC 23. I think like that.
We can all buy like a fire resistance potion, and then
fire resistance ain't gonna work. Even half damage would insta kill you, Bjorn.
What do you mean? How strong is that shit?
Like 80.
That's fine.
Oh,
if I take half damage on that, I'm still alive, bro.
Let's look this up real quick.
And that's assuming he didn't amp it up and add anything else to it.
That's only just one hit.
Adult red dragon. This is at the minimum of what this thing is.
I always knew menace would be the death of me. So tell me what the damage is.
It does 63 damage.
When
it's fire.
Menace, you're taking the front line, all right?
I got 64 HP, okay? So I survived that. I don't care.
That's taking base. It can roll higher. Like, if you just take the damage, it's 63. If the DM wants to, it's 18d6 fire damage.
That's a pretty big fireball. That adult one?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it won't be adult. There's no way we can fight an adult.
Yeah.
Well, the guy said it was bigger. If the guy said it was bigger than a T-Rex, it has to be an adult. It would be smaller.
Sometimes we look bigger than our age. You know what I mean?
Dwarves are prone to exaggeration.
Mind you, an adult dragon's only classified as a large. If it's bigger than a large creature, it's an ancient.
Okay.
No, adult dragon is bigger than large.
Yeah, they get up to gigantic.
Well, maybe he's just an exaggerator. Maybe he has bad eyesight.
Right?
It is a dwarf, so
we got this.
I mean,
young dragon.
Chris did say
best scenario. It's a young dragon. It still does 56 damage with its breath attack.
Chris did say that there's a lot of stuff in the jungle and it's not all balanced. Like if we're heading out somewhere we're gonna die, he's not gonna stop us. So
Yeah.
it could definitely be a
take that. We'll throw Menace in the way. She's our human meat shield. She'll take the fire, and then I'll go in and kill it.
Yeah.
Even
Alright.
the young dragons challenge rating 10.
Got a plan.
But I had one question before we rock and roll with this thing. Is that before we hit the sack, right? Before we slept, Menez would have asked you guys, probably specifically Sienna, about the bays of Utoa, maze of life. What was that? Because she saw the symbol on the chest and she was like, she couldn't place what it was.
Sienna will remember you telling her. I assume you probably in your told Sienna about your previous travels about when you went to the Temple of the Naga.
Everything.
Yeah, she will remind you about the story of how you and those other adventurers went to the Temple of the Naga, and he told you about the path of Ubteo is like the spiritual journey to
that's what it is.
meet for that god.
Yes.
And that how it supposedly leads to Omu, the lost city.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And then
the maze of life.
It's supposed to be laying the artifact, the soulmonger.
Ubteo. Yeah. Okay.
So
Ubteo's interesting because he's not actually a god. He's he's one of the primordials.
Who ascended basically? He ascended basically to godhood because they gave him his own place to govern. But everybody who drank of the liquor, of the pine seed liquor, give me a con save. I mean, no, give me a roll me a luck die. That's what I meant. Luck die.
Unfortunately, I didn't. Now I regret it, but there you go.
I got 6.
Okay.
Or kick.
I got an 8.
Would that help? Give him advantage on that for being drunk or hungover?
We got a 6 and an 8, and then you other two didn't partake, right?
I did not.
Okay, so 6 and 8 is high enough on luck. You get the following effect on you because you didn't roll low. You're gonna have advantage on charisma saves until the end of the day.
Okay.
If you had failed, you'd have disadvantage on con saves.
That's bad.
Okay, so this pine nut liquor has emboldened you essentially. You feel ready, your mind is just focused like an arrow, just you're seeing things differently and understanding things differently, and it just seems to flow through you evenly, perfectly. You feel very perfectly balanced right now.
Sweet. I got this.
Hey.
All right. And that was con save, right?
For charisma. Advantage on charisma.
Okay. I got you.
Okay, so you guys head down into the jungle then. Kadesh alongside you with Hugh. And as you guys make it down to the floor, Kadesh would kind of nod towards the jungle. We know that their base camp is somewhere in that direction. I suggest we approach openly, hoping to be confronted. And
Sienna
we demand... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, Sienna will second that, saying, we need to make some noise here. We need to let them know we're coming and that we are here specifically for a challenge.
We need to demand to see Esau. That's what they call their leader.
All right. I'm down for making noise. I can do that. Easier than stealthing.
Crap.
Okay, so you guys just set out into the jungle, just snapping every branch you can, swinging your swords into the tree trunk, making hollow boom. It is all just everywhere. Shouting, disgracing Esau's mother and his father and his lineage. Dishonor your wife, dishonor your cow, dishonor your whole family.
Rick will go, your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberry. Loud as it can into the jungle.
Somewhere deep in the jungle, Monty Python cries deeply. Okay, yeah, so you guys make as much noise as possible, just tromping through the forest, essentially, in the direction that Kadesh has pointed out. Not long into traveling into the jungle, maybe 10 minutes. Suddenly, up all around you, just springing up out of nowhere, a bunch of Yuan-Ti would appear. almost like coming from nothing, coming from the shadows, from the underbrush, from the foliage above, even just appearing, swords drawn, about to strike.
What was it called again?
You guys want to challenge Asao.
So, Nebby, what kind of roll?
All right. Well, I'm just gonna scream it. I'll just be like, "We're here to challenge Asao."
And all the
Stand by to
UNT
get us
stop
to them,
mid-strike.
to him.
They all just stop. They slowly lower their weapons and turn to a UNT you see is very burned,
Persuasion.
specifically on his left side. And he looks at all of you, and he steps forward. Why do you wish to see Asao?
Sienna will speak. We are here to challenge him. I know of your customs and your honor. A challenge must be met, or he will be dishonored.
Perhaps he's too scared, Vanessa says.
Asao is scared of nothing. He would spit this at you.
And then Rick will call, "Ka, little snakes, go get your boss. Be fool, or pray. Bring him to fight us he will. Yes, ka, or weak he will be."
One of the UNT draws a bow and shoots it at your bird, and it misses it by a hair's breadth. Silence the bird.
Sienna will go, "Is he wrong, though? Show us that he's not right.
Our leader is no coward.
Then have him come forth and fight us."
Challenges are fights for one, but that is for him to decide. Come. And they would turn, surrounding you, spears pointed at you, and lead you off into the jungle, some more into the distance. You follow? Willingly?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you travel for another like 30 minutes then. And they'd kind of lead you on this winding path and slip down into a ravine. And you'd see there's like a big kind of like a natural lake with like a waterfall pouring into it. They would step towards this like natural small lake and just walk into the water, head slowly disappearing beneath the surface. Come, beneath the waterfall, go!
I guess I'll go over first.
I'm with you.
So you'd follow them down into the water. It reaches about to like the bottom of your chin. You want to be a little shorter than you. Some of them are, at least. Most of them are about the same height. But it kind of reaches to your chin, and you walk directly beneath the waterfall, pounding on your head, pounding on your skull, onto your shoulder. Just these stinging, heavy pellets of water just pounding on you. Until you're past it, you have to hold your breath for a little while. And you come up in this like little natural grotto. Kind of the water levels out into a shallow pool where it's a large open cavern kind of surrounding it. But you see that the cavern's been carved a bit too. These pillars stretching from the floor all the way to the ceiling. And in the back of this grotto, kind of this doorway, dark and foreboding, leading into what appears to be some sort of a temple. They lead you through, up the steps into the temple. You pass old ancient carvings, figures running from a burning city, swords swinging, terrafolk in the sky, Arakoka running as well. As you follow them back into this temple, you would see UNT swinging blades, cutting down enemies. You would see what you can only assume to be some sort of undead standing in the mist, rising up seemingly from nowhere and then disappearing. And as you follow this hallway all the way back into the temple, it opens up and you see all around you, coiled in the center is a giant snake wrapping all the way to the ceiling. It comes down up at the top, kind of curving inwards, and is biting onto something that's shaped like the sun. All around it, kind of up on surrounding the room itself, are pillars rising up and extra doorways leading off into different parts of the temple. At the very center of the world is in the very center of this room, carved into the floor, kind of like the Ubteo symbol you saw at the monastery, is a sun with a serpent wrapped all the way around it, biting onto its center. And all over inside of here are UNT who look at you as you approach. From the head of this giant statue serpent, you hear a slithering sound of scales on stone. and from the top of this head comes Esau.
And that's
How many?
aberration.
How many UNT are there in the room?
More than you thought there were going to be. More than you were told. They obviously didn't know exactly how many there were. There are about 30 or 40 in here.
Yeah, we probably don't want to fight that.
Menez steps forward. Says, as my friend has said, we've heard tales of your traditions. And we, as a group, challenge you. Unless, of course, you're too afraid to fight us all.
Esau's tongue flicks out, tasting the air. He's eyeing you down. You see this old, ancient armor covering him head to toe. You see on his back 2 massive blades, and at his waist a chakram. And he looks at you, his eyes cocked to the side, his head kind of moving, swaying side to side. Esau fears nothing. Roll me persuasion to try and persuade him to do a group combat, though, essentially.
I got it.
Yeah, can we give him help with
Yeah, go ahead and
Rig,
give help for advantage.
Rig vehemently insulting his honor, the size of his tail?
Sure, yeah, that would work.
15 plus 4. I got 19.
Okay, 19, perfect. What do you say that tips him over the edge of reason?
Can it be Rig, please? Anybody object to Rig being the one that says it?
Nope.
I rolled as a group, right? Yes, sir.
Sure, you guys could all start shout insults at him and challenges.
Go for it, Rig.
Okay, Rig. Let's see here. Gah! Big snake! Tail so small. Think he the snake that ate the world? Come! Show! Fight us all if you can! Or send it back to your little hole. Show that... Oh crap, what was the tyrant's name?
Ras Nasi.
Ras Nasi was right in saying you were weak. Come fight us all.
Menez turns to Bjorn and says, how embarrassing would it be for him to lose in front of all his servants here? Can you imagine how embarrassing that would be?
And a carrot chimes in. He's too weak and too afraid to fight us all.
Bjorn will just laugh it off and stare at him, not believing that he'll actually do it, challenging him through his stare.
You see Esau just taking this verbal onslaught. His eyes narrow to slits. His tongue flicks out of his mouth again. I will kill you all and show mine why I am in charge. Fine, let it be combat. And he draws the 2 swords off his back. All the UNT kind of back away, forming a big circle in the center of this room.
I'll step forward from the group and point my halberd at him, preparing myself for battle.
We shall fight in together, my friends.
And so it begins. Roll initiative, everybody. Post it in the chat. I'm going to be right back. Give me a minute.
Oh, fucking 22. Got a max.
Same. Shit. That's some high rolls.
Yeah, but I think we better not underestimate.
We gotta fight hard.
I got 26.
You
The
guys
last one person was Valandria.
Oh,
It's
God.
not as bad as Valandria, or at least it shouldn't be. I've
Just
done
saying.
before in previous campaigns.
How much you got, Thomas?
He got 26. Put it in the chat.
You got 26?
Nice.
Yep.
How the fuck did you
I got
get 20?
I got 5 for my initiative, and one of my skill sets
Holy shit.
is let's see, your confidence propels you into battle. You give yourself a bonus to your initiative rolls equal to your charisma modifier.
Okay. So we got. Oh my gosh! Holy crap, guys!
Akira has 26.
Yeah.
Akira's got 26.
Yeah.
Holy Hannah.
This is a duel. This is what swashbucklers do.
Okay, well, Akira with a 26 is definitely going first. But he actually rolled pretty well too. So we got Sal and then Bjorn with a 22. And Sienna with a 22.
Wow. Before us.
Those are the 21. Hugh with a 15. Oh, no, wait. Sal was again before that. Then 15 for Hugh. And then a 10 for Kadesh. All right. Initiative incoming. Here we go. Akira.
He has 2 rolls.
All right. So what I want to do is I want to use my jumping spell off my ring, jump as high as I can in the air, and come down with like both swords in his chest.
Okay, go ahead. Make me an attack. I'll give you a choice. You can either make your first attack at advantage, or make your second attack do 1 damage die. Make your first attack do 1 damage die higher.
I'll do the second attack of damage die higher.
Okay.
All right. First one is see 19.
19 barely hits.
Oh god.
Barely hits. Okay, well the second one's at 18.
And that misses.
Oh shit.
Now we know.
Epic fail. All right. So
That's
just
pretty high.
see here. Ooh, I only do 4, 5, 10 points of damage.
Okay. Your sword rakes across his shoulder down to his side. You see the scale split a little bit, and a little bit of blood just starts to like well up on the surface. And he just looks down at it, and then looks back up at you, tongue flicking out, hitting you in the face, as you're now up close and personal with him. It's Sal's turn. He's going to release a flurry of attacks on you, 8 to be exact.
What?
He makes 3 attacks.
Oh.
Okay. First attack. That's going to be a 21 to hit.
Is that all on me?
Yeah, you're the only one in melee range with him.
Yeah, my AC is a 15. But
Okay.
do I get attack opportunity before he does, or?
He's not moving. He's right next to you.
Okay.
Okay, so first attack 21, second attack is a 14, which misses, and third attack is a 22. So he's gonna hit twice. Okay, so lightning quick, one of his huge scimitars comes slashing down towards you, being drawn from his back with a lightning quick reflex. That's gonna be 11 points of damage for the first scimitar attack. And then you're gonna go. His second attack. You're able to dodge out of the way. It's slashing just barely right in front of your face as his head whips forward and bites you on the side of the neck. And this bite attack is going to do 17.
17. Ooh.
That is hard.
Okay, and that'll be it for Sal's first turn.
When I was preparing for battle, I would ask that I had entered my rage at that time. Is that possible?
Yeah, that's fine. You could have entered your rage like right as combat was starting, basically.
Okay, so then I will charge a Sal with my halberd. I will attack recklessly.
Okay.
So 17 is a miss.
Uh-huh.
Second attack at 23.
That hits, yeah.
So give me a second. So that's 6. For 15 damage.
Oh, ouch. Okay.
And then another hit for 7 damage.
So 22 total.
What did I say? 15?
7 plus 15, yeah, 22, right?
Yeah, that was 9 actually.
Oh, 9 instead of 15, so 24 points. I mean, 9
Yes.
instead of 7, so 24
Yes,
points.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. How do you just
So
into this dude?
Bjorn is like charging and just does like a downward slash with his halberd, but Yuan-Ti kind of moves away from his side. But then on the backswing, he gets him on the ribs, and then along with the motion, he spins his halberd on the other side and hits him with the blunt side of the halberd over his other shoulder, cracking a little bit the scale and then slashing through on his side.
Yeah, Esau hisses in pain, blood splattering you across the face and on the floor as you unleash this barrage of attacks. Sienna.
Okay, she's going to cast Scorching Ray at him.
Okay. And that's just ranged attacks, right?
Yep, that's not a save. Just see if I hit or not. Hold on. Combat. Scorching Ray. All right, first attack. 19.
We'll hit barely.
10.
Okay, 10 points. Okay.
Oh no, that was the second attack was a 10 to hit.
Oh yeah, 10 misses for sure.
And critical.
Nice. Okay, so the way I do criticals, this Scorching Ray is a cantrip, right?
No, it's a second level spell.
Oh, but you don't add your modifier to it, your damage, do you?
No.
So just roll dice, add them together, and then double it. That's how I do crits.
All the damage together.
Yeah.
So that'd be 46.
That's a lot of damage.
Oh no, just on the crit, just on the crit.
Oh, just on the crit. All right, so he takes 2d6 for the first hit. 10.
Okay.
And then crit. 20.
Nice. 2 blasts of fire just rip through him. You smell the distinct smell of burning flesh and wrinkling burnt scales. It's putrid smelling, but Esau is not phased.
Just as a clarification, if he has resistance to fire damage, my spell ignores it because of my feet.
Yeah, he doesn't have resistance.
All right, then. So he just takes full damage.
Okay. Yeah, so he just kind of like hisses angrily, kind of like rising up to his full height, well above you. Menez, your turn.
Absolutely. So Menez bursts into a rage as she sprints, sees these two companions battling away at him, hacking away at him as this flame just shoots past her. And she just dives, rolls, and as she comes up to the side of him, she attacks recklessly. First one is, let's see, 13 or 11. So that means I go with the 13 plus 7 is 20 modified.
20 hits, yeah.
Yeah. Next one is 10 or 6. So I go with 10. And that is 17, which misses. So one hit. And that is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. So the first one just completely misses as she's rolled on the floor and just comes up, misses. And the second one just like tries to like slice into the side of his leg. And she's done.
Leg,
Okay.
air quotes.
Yeah, Esau kind of takes his cut across his midriff, looking down at you, looking at the two of you, just attacking recklessly, no regard for self-defense. He is going to, we'll see if he'll attack Menez first with a constrict attack at advantage. Oh wow, okay, that's a nat 20. That's gonna hurt. That's gonna be 13, 26 points of damage. And you are grappled, which means you're restrained. So until you escape DC 14, your attacks are made at disadvantage.
All right, so you take 13.
From that?
Huh?
Is there any saving throw from that?
No, it just if it hits the attack, it grapples you.
Sweet.
Got it.
All right, so you took
Okay.
13.
Yeah, its other 2 attacks. It's going to look down at the injured Akira, make a bite attack on Akira, and then make an attack advantage on Bjorn. So Akira, does a 17 hit you? Yeah. Okay. That's going to be 17 points of damage again, then, from piercing and poison,
That hurts.
and then an attack at advantage on Bjorn, and that is going to be a 24 to hit,
Yep.
which will be 11 points of normal piercing damage, which is halved to 5, and then 10 of poison, which is 15 total to you.
Oh, wait, don't you do your radiant damage too when you're raging?
Yeah.
When you done that on your turn?
Yeah, well, I just added it to the
Oh, did you? All right.
total damage. I don't know if radiant damage does anything different.
No, it's radiant damage. It doesn't have any resistances. It doesn't have any vulnerabilities to it. Okay, so that'll be it for Esau's second turn. He's going to maneuver Menace, using you as a shield to move you between any ranged attacks coming from Sienna, essentially. Okay, Hugh. Hugh's going to charge forward, lifting his maul in one hand and swing at Esau, missing. And he'll take his bonus action to try and headbutt him. And miss on that too. Good job, Hugh. Okay, Kadesh. We'll take off into the air, unstringing a bow off his back, and take a shot at him, which will hit for 7 points of damage. An arrow kind of just slips past you, Menace, sliding in past your ear and burying itself in his chest. He lets loose just like a scream of pain, and that'll be it for Kadesh. Kira, your turn.
You're muted, buddy.
Oh, you're muted, yeah.
Yeah, my bad. So what I want to do is dash disengage, so I can use a potion of lesser healing.
Okay, so you're backing out and healing for this round? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, he did a number on you.
Yeah.
34. At least.
He's
Okay.
about to get a number done to him.
So it'll be Esau's turn again then, as you step out to heal. He's going to look down at Menace just held in his tail, and he's going to squeeze. And that's an advantage in attack. That's going to be a 24 to hit, which is definitely going to hit you.
Menace just screams out, just
And that'll be almost max. 15 points, so you're raging, so half that will be 7.
Oh.
Its next 2 attacks are going to be directed at Bjorn. As it turns on you, it's full fury directed at you, as it still has advantage from your reckless attack.
Yep.
First attack's going to be a 23 to hit.
Yep.
Second attack is going to be a 19. Does 19 hit you?
Yep.
Okay. So you're going to take so 13 halved, 6, plus 10, 16, because of the 10 poison. So 16 damage from his bite as it just like lands right on your arm, your extended arm that you just used to attack him. Just clamping down on your wrist and tearing. Roll me a D8 luck die.
Oh god. 2.
Unlucky for you, its fang pierces your tendon, tearing through it, making your hand become useless as you drop your weapon.
Fuck.
And its second attack is going to be directed at you too, as it sees an opening, its scimitar flashing in. As it hit, oh, actually that might not hit. Does a 17 hit you?
Nope.
Okay, its second attack comes streaking towards you, barely managed to get out of the way. Dodging to the side, this blade swooping through the air, just cutting the air as it passes. and you feel the poison begin to seep into your wrist, a purple-black splotch spreading through your veins. And that'll be it for his Sal. Bjorn, your turn.
So how does it work to pick up my weapon? I dropped it on the floor, right?
Yeah, it's just like 10 feet of movement to pick up a weapon. That's it.
Okay. So I'll do that and then attack him recklessly still.
Okay.
So 18, that misses, right?
18 misses, yeah.
All right. And then 21.
Okay, that will hit, yeah.
That's 20 damage.
Ooh, okay. Ouch. Yeah, 20 damage hurts.
And then I will use my bonus action to use my second wind skill. Sweet. Almost max. So I'll gain 10 HP.
Okay, perfect. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, so before we switch to Sienna, give me 1 second. I've got a pizza in the oven. I got to get out.
Damn,
He's hurt bad. The auntie's hurt.
Yeah, but he hits fucking hard, man. Jesus
No
Christ.
shit. Yeah.
How bad are
Very
you?
hard. He about did me in.
Yeah.
How bad are you, Ian?
How I've got I hope I calculated it okay. I've got 89.
You got 89 hit points?
I believe so.
Total still?
Well, maybe I calculated. The last one was you did 15.
Yeah, so it'd be half
Mine-
that you're raging.
Yeah.
And the one before that was I took 13, I thought, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. There was something close to that.
Something like that. Whatever it is. Apparently you haven't been even like injured very much. So hot dang. Do you have the tough feet?
No, I've got only
You should get that though.
only average, which is E6 level, so that would be and I've got +3 for
Constitution.
Constitution. Tell me that goes to 65.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it should be close to that, yeah. Because
Yeah.
I got 64 and I did the same thing.
Hot
So-
dang, that's gross. That's so much health for a barbarian already.
All right.
Oh, for a barbarian, you get D12. That's why.
Yeah.
Ew.
My turn.
Yeah, you go ahead, Sienna, your turn.
Take 48 from Fireball.
Oh, you're gonna hit your friends around him.
I have spell sculpt from being an
Oh.
evocation specialist wizard, so
Oh,
up
that's
to 4
right.
people ignore damage.
Oh, man.
You sick bastard. All right.
Close range fire support.
48?
48.
Oh, dex
You
save
save
first,
for half.
right? Okay, so dex save first, though, yeah?
Yeah, dex save.
Okay. Okay, what's his dex modifier? That's a 15. I don't know if that passes or not.
Just fuck.
Damn it.
Oh goodness.
Still takes 24.
Yeah, that hurts. Yeah, he screams in pain at that. The only thing that saves him really is he maneuvers Menez a bit in the way, forcing you to kind of direct it to the side. He kind of dodges a bit, moving his body with a swing, but it still manages to scorch him all along the side. You see that his eye actually just like pops in its socket from the heat. Just vitreous jelly just gooing down his face.
Seeing that you would it be, can I use a bonus action to like toss my weapon to somebody?
Yeah, sure.
that'd
That'd
be
be fine.
She'll tell talk to Bjorn since he's kind of stuck holding, this two-handed weapon in one hand. She'll go, Bjorn, catch! And then she throws her sword to Bjorn.
Can I not wield my two-handed weapon?
I think you get disadvantage.
I'll let you, but it'll be difficult. I'm going to give you a minus because your one hand is just like whooped right now.
So she's
Oh, 'cause-
tossing you a one-handed weapon.
Okay, sure. Well, because I attacked normally on the last turn.
Oh, that's fine. It's okay. We'll do it from here on out.
All right, Bjorn, if you catch it, you currently are using a sword of life stealing.
What is the disadvantage on the polearm? like fighting with my injured hand.
You said -1, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna give you like a -2.
On
Well,
to hit.
Yeah, like for hitting, like just get like a small -2 for swinging it with like one injured hand and one good hand.
if you get the sword, you'd get like full because it's a one-handed weapon.
Yeah, it's just because it gives me a third attack having a polearm.
Oh, does it?
But yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll drop my halberd and catch his sword.
All right, Sword of Life Stealing. Just so you know, it's a magic weapon. D8 damage. If you roll a 20, the target takes an extra 3d6 necrotic damage, and you gain that damage equal to extra hit points.
That'd be fun.
Oh, my goodness.
Now's the time to crit.
That's disgusting on a barbarian that it's hard enough to damage as is.
You know what's even better about Swords of Life Stealing? They come in any sword form, so you could like get a two-handed barbarian life stealing sword.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, I went to get that sword from the merchant and it was gone.
You sickened me. All right, Menace, your turn.
Absolutely. So I need to get out of this. She's being completely constricted by so
Maybe a DC 14. A DC 14 athletics or acrobatics check.
Okay, let's do. She goes for athletics as she tries to. That's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Yeah, you'd be able to like Hercules these things open and free yourself.
Absolutely. Is that my action though?
I actually don't really know. I'm just gonna say no. I'm just gonna say your movement.
Yeah, I'd say it'd be like a movement since you're like moving yourself out of it.
DM's call. So as the flames just go around her, just burning off all the sweat as well as all the water from us coming through this place, and she just like is able to like stretch herself out. She just like attacks recklessly again as she like swings. First one is that's a 2. That's a 17. So because it's advantage, I take the 17. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24.
Yeah, you're good.
That hits, yeah, for sure.
Is the first hit, and then the second one is 5. That's not happening. Is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. No way. So she just hits wide with the second blow, but with the first one, she tries to cut into the same place in its torso, doing a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage.
Okay. Yeah, you chop him. Like you see that he's just streaked in blood now, just dripping from multiple wounds. His eyes are kind of having a hard time focusing. He's about bloodied almost.
Okay. She's done.
Okay. And Sao looks down at you, frustration evident in his eyes, and he is going to use his first legendary action. I'm going to need you to make me a charisma saving throw, Menace.
Is it a spell he's casting?
Yes.
Counter spell?
Well, it's an effect, actually, I guess. So it's not necessarily a spell, but it's like an effect he has. So how does that work?
Is it a spell-like effect? Because that's a specific wording.
Well, 18, 17.
17. So I mean, I guess it's a spell-like effect. I don't know. Like
It just says casting a spell, so if it just hold on, let me look up the actual spell. It says process of casting a spell, so I guess it wouldn't work.
Yeah, if it's an ability, I don't think you can counterspell it.
Okay.
You can dispel magic, I think, but not counterspell.
DM rules. So 17.
I'll rule it doesn't counter it. Okay, so what'd you get?
17.
Okay, so 17 only just fails. So you are going to be feared from him. As he looks into your eyes, you look into his, and you see death. You see your own. You see the deaths of your party. And the fear just sinks into you like a cold hand touching your heart. It just weighs on you, grabbing your heart and squeezing. And you are feared from him. You're going to repeat the save at the end of each round of your rounds. But until then, you have to spend your turn either running away from him or simply remaining in place. You can't attack.
Absolutely. Got it.
But he just looks at you, his slitted eyes narrowing, and you just feel this fear. And he's going to turn his full attention on Bjorn. believing that he's at least solved one problem. So Bjorn, here comes a fury of blows because he needs to deal with one of you fast.
Nice.
Did you recklessly attack?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so advantage. Constricts incoming. 18 to hit. Does that hit?
I have 18 AC, so that hits, right?
Yeah, so that would hit then. So you're going to take half of this because you're raging. So half of 13, so 6 points of damage, and you are grappled. You have to free yourself from your grapple on the turn.
Okay.
And then it's just going to lay into you again with a bite and a scimitar. So bite attack incoming. That's going to be a 24, which hits. So it's going to be half of this. So take 4 points from the piercing and 10 from the poison, so 14.
Yeah.
And then his last attack from his scimitar, advantage 22. He's going to hit for 14, so half that, so 7. So he just starts wailing, laying into you. First, his tail shoots out, wraps around you, leaving Menes standing there staring up at this monstrous creature. A bite shoots down, biting on the side of your neck as your arms are restrained, and its scimitar comes in next, jabbing into your chest and pulling out from the side, spraying blood across the battlefield.
Trying to protect himself, like raising his hand, his bad hand, it kind of like gets all slashed up, and you can see like a bloody slash all across his arm that was already injured, and he just like screams out in pain.
Yeah, you're just dripping blood on the floor now. It's pouring down your armor, pouring down your face. You just look like you've been to hell and back right now. And that'll be a Sal's turn. Hugh is going to run up and try and free you from the grapple, actually. So he's going to do a contested strength check with a Sal.
Can I give him advantage or something?
Yeah, you can aid him, sure, like by pushing outwards at the same time as he's pulling. That would work.
There you go.
Oh, Hugh wins. You see him kind of lever his one arm inside with a maul, kind of like a pulley almost, like a lever. He sticks it in there and just like leans down, pushing the scales up, leaning into it so you can slide out. You are no longer grappled. Right. Kadesh will shoot an arrow down at advantage and miss. Holy cow, he missed at advantage. Good job, Kadesh. You're really helpful. Hey, Akira, your turn.
All right, so what I want to see if I can do is like drop my weapons, grab my crossbow, and fire. Will I be able to do it, or will I just be able to drop it and grab it?
Go ahead, you can do that.
All right, so I grab out my crossbow and I aim for his head. Natural crit.
Sweet.
Woo! Okay, roll me damage, add your modifier, and double.
Alright. 6 plus 5. 8 plus 5. Alright. 8, 13, 26.
And roll me a luck die too, because you crit him in the head. You declared that.
The luck die? That's the
Yep.
1 die 8, right?
Yeah, because he's only got one eye right now because I burnt out the other one.
7.
Sweet.
7. Okay. He's looking away from you. And I'm assuming like the stupid bird like screams out some of the challenge of him again. And his head whips back and looks, and right then you're able to see like his full head, and you line up and shoot, and it hits him right in the other eye.
Yes.
So is he blinded?
He has blind sense 10 feet. So
damn it.
so anybody far away from him, he's gonna have disadvantage on dex saves now. But he has magic resistance, so it'll just be normal saves against spells.
Right.
So. Okay, so your arrow just pierces him in the eye. He just screams, just this scream just releasing out of his mouth. All the other UNTs start to back away in fear as he dips below halfway and enters into a blood frenzy.
This is really bad. This is super
He
bad.
just starts to lash out blindly. I'm gonna have him roll randomly to see who he hits. So current targets in the range: Hugh, Menez, and Bjorn. Hugh is 1 and 2, Menez 4 and 5. I mean 3 and 4, and then Bjorn 5 and 6. So first attack, coming at you, Bjorn. This is going to be a bite. That is 26 to hit.
Yeah.
His mouth just sinks around your neck, searing pain, filling you. 5 points, so half that, so 2, and then 10, so 12 points of damage to you.
Yep.
As his teeth just rip into your flesh. Next roll to see who he attacks. 3, that's coming at, is that Menez or Hugh?
Menez.
3's Menez, okay. Menez, you just see this blinded beast, just its head waving back and forth. You kind of take a step back, you step on a stone, and with a clatter, it rolls away from you. His head turns to you, and he raises his scimitar. That is going to be a 19, which I assume hits.
Solid.
That's going to be 9 points of damage, so half that 5.
Okay.
And his last attack, the constricting. Oh no, wait. Yeah, the constricting attack. Coming at you two again, Menace. With a 3. That is a 25 to hit.
Ooh, yes.
As its tail shoots out, wraps around you, constricting tightly, squeezing out your lungs so you can't breathe. And you are going to take from that another 6 points of damage.
Got it.
And that'll be it for Asao as he blood fury rages.
Fuck's sakes.
Bjorn's turn with your new magic sword.
All right. What kind of action would it take for me to drink a potion?
I count that as either as a bonus action.
Yeah, I think it's a bonus action.
Okay. So I will swing recklessly at him because I'm super pissed about all the damage that he's done to me. And I will miserably miss. So I'll try and swing again. And this is going to hit.
Yeah, you get your full modifiers with the sword.
Yeah, I know. So D8, is it?
D8.
Yeah, D8.
Fuck.
D8 plus your strength.
Yes. So
No crit.
nope. So I'm gonna hit him for 16 damage.
Okay.
Afterwards, I will use my bonus action to disengage, kind of like rolling backwards after my last hit, and then I will move back 30 feet, I guess, like move back besides Sienna and Akira.
Okay.
And that's gonna be it for my turn.
All right, my turn. Right.
All right. Go ahead, Sienna.
32 fireball.
Oh,
Save for half.
normal roll. I didn't get advantage this time.
Oh, I'm killing, man. I got 4 HP left.
Oh, he got a 17.
Fuck.
God damn it.
So half of 32.
So that'd be 16 points of damage.
Yeah.
Again, he just like it almost seems like his blind sense is extended in his like fury and his duress, and he moves Menez in the way, so you have to sculpt it around Menez. So it only gets him half of his body. He just screams in pain again. The smell of burning flesh and scales rising to fill the dome, fill this room. As a sick, macabre sacrifice to the snake above him in a strange way. Okay, Menez, your turn.
So Menez has got these images really flip through her head really, really fast. I have to do a save first.
Yeah, either athletics or acrobatics.
But actually, she's also feared as well. She had that.
Yeah, you'll repeat that at the end of your turn.
Oh, at the end of it.
Yeah.
Okay, fair anyway. First one is she did 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
You got
Okay,
advantage on your strength check since you're raging.
Yeah.
12, the 17, 18, 17, 18, 19.
Yeah, you get free. So you're free.
Oh, fantastic. So she's free. And then I have to do my action, which would be would it be to run then?
Yeah, you'd probably disengage and back away, unless you want to try and like face your fears and stand your ground. But that you wouldn't be able to attack. You just stay in one place.
So yeah, so I could attack at disadvantage, is what you're saying? No.
Oh, sure, I'll allow an attack at disadvantage. Yeah.
I can't remember what fear does.
What happens then? She breaks free, and this thing's just going through her head with like just future things that she's planned. That now she doubts, and she sees the death of like all her comrades against the dragon. She sees all her comrades dying inside the fort, getting caught. She sees all her comrades, you know, and it comes right up to this moment where it's been lashing out, and she just slashes wildly against it. First one is disadvantage anyway, so that's
if you swing recklessly, it's neutral.
Which means what?
So
You
you
just
It
roll
would be a
one
disadvantage, but it wouldn't be at advantage. It'd just be normal.
So I just roll one dice.
Yeah.
It's your normal attack.
The 2 dice that I rolled anyway, just to say that's the thing. 2 dice I got, one was a 3, which means if I have pluses, that would be +7. And the other one was a natural 1. So she's still consumed with these images, just trying to fight back and just regain her confidence, which is coming back. That's it.
So you nat 1?
Natural 1, yeah. Actually,
Roll me a luck die. Give me that D8.
fuck.
D8.
Roll an 8.
Please.
Roll 8. You pick up a Sal's weapon.
What do I need? High or low?
You want to get high.
Okay, high. Come on. Let me show you.
Did you get a 1?
You know.
Oh,
Okay.
Fuck.
this is bad.
Yeah, you're recklessly swinging, just like just swinging and swinging. You see that fear, you see that doubt. It starts to bore into your mind, a seed sprouting amongst all of your confidence, tearing it apart, wearing it away. And as you're swinging recklessly, you step in a pool of your own blood, slip, and fall into your back. Now you're lying at Isau's feet, tail. I don't know.
Nice. Now does he get to make a save if that's the end of his turn?
Yeah. Now make a wisdom save at the end of your turn to end this fear.
Okay, got it. Come on now.
I mean charisma save. Sorry.
Okay, well that's a 16 minus 1 is 15.
On the yeah, 15 is right what you need.
Yeah, sweet, fantastic.
The fear ebbs, and now you're just left with this creature looming over you, just looking down at you. And you see it, and he feels where you are. As you shake on the ground, as you land there and are lying at his feet, essentially. Bjorn's backed off to try and get some healing. Hugh is trying still desperately to pull his maul out of his constricted tail. And he is going to lay into you, Menes. Oh, actually, he's still reckless. So 1 through 3 is you, 4 through 6 is Hugh.
Yeah, can I my free action? Can I just do that?
Yeah, sure.
My free action. So she's on the floor. She's come away from the strongest part of that fear that gripped her. And then she with the blood coming out of the side of her mouth and the wounds that's in the side, and she says, "Are you scared? Is that fear I see in your eyes?" She tries to taunt him.
No, it's blood. It's not fear.
Yeah. And no, Esau shouts at you. That is not fear you see, child. It is your own impending doom, as he looms over you and attacks. 1, that is an attack on you, Menes. Constriction attack. 22, which is going to hit. 9, 13, take 6 points, because you're raging still. Second attack. Oh, see what it goes for. You won. You again, Menes.
Sorry, because now I'm getting confused with the same. It would be 12 points, right?
Wait, you're raging because it would have it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but naturally it was 12.
Yeah, it was 12 initially, so yeah, half to 6.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so next attack, Scimitar, sweeping down towards you. That is a 16. Does that hit you? I don't know if that does.
Definitely, solid.
Okay. That is going to be 6 plus 4, so 5 points, because that's halved, 10 down to 5. And then the third attack, who does he go for? This time he goes for Hugh, who's just like recklessly, just like trying to pull his maul out, just swinging at it. A bite attack. and that is going to be a 19, which is going to hit him. And he is going to take 17 points of damage. Okay, that is it for Isao. You see that he's breathing heavily. Multiple wounds, blood dripping down his face, pooling around him, eyes half lidded. One eye just burst into jelly, arrow sticking out of the other. Multiple cuts. He's on his last leg, ironically, if he had one. And he is just bleeding out right now. Hugh, after taking this bite attack, is going to scream and attack him twice. Hitting twice, 19 and 18. Oh no, only one set because 19 only hits.
That's a high AC, man.
Yeah, baby. 9 points of damage as this maul just cracks him across the face. You see a fang go flying, just skittering across the floor. Kadesh, 2 attacks from the air. You can't see them, so he has advantage. 19 to hit hits. 19 to hit hits.
Sweet.
Don't you fucking kill Stilmia.
Get him!
Kadesh.
2 arrows just coming out of the sky, just slamming into him. 7 points, plus 6, 13. He is barely standing still. Akira.
Oh, if he gets advantage on this, doesn't he get sneak attack damage if he's doing range?
Yes, he does.
Okay, what is it? Sneak attack?
Yeah, it'd be your crossbow, and if you hit, you get sneak attack.
Alright, yeah. Alright. So what extra is that? Well, okay.
Just roll to hit and see.
Yep, I'm gonna aim my crossbow for his head again. I got 19.
Sweet.
Sneak attack.
That hits.
Yeah, hit.
Yeah.
Give me that sneak attack damage.
Alright, now what extra do I roll for the sneak attack?
What level are you of a rogue?
Level 4.
Level 4, I believe it's just still 3d6.
3d6.
So you add 3d6 on top of your normal damage.
Okay.
Get him.
Alright, so 7, 12, 14, 17.
Yeah.
How does Akira kill Isao?
Yeah, my man.
I did it.
Doobie got
I
the
did
kill.
it.
Dome this bitch.
Alright, was it up to me to navigate here?
Yeah, go ahead, kill him.
Alright. So as I aim my crossbow, hands shaking, hoping it would be the last arrow I'll fire into him. As I watch it leave the bow gun, like slow motion, I watch it just pierce into his head, straight in the forehead, right between the eyes and off the back. I watch blood and brains because the snake statue behind him as I just watch him fall, tumbling on top of Menace.
Sweet.
Isao's body keeps jerking in death. It's him writhing around on the ground, his tail whipping out, whips against the statue. You see just how strong his tail is now as it breaks a chunk off the statue. It writhes around on the ground, moving, rotating, swinging around. All the Yuan-Ti stare in fear and fascination as Isao, their mighty champion, their mighty leader, dies from a crossbow between the eye, like a worthless animal, just domed, just falls over, writhing, and falls still.
Bjorn looking all bloody and like really beat, like his arm basically useless and bleeding for a number of wounds on his body, was just stand up and shout the mightiest war cry he can muster in his situation.
Roll me an intimidation check.
Can you get advantage from all of us,
Yeah.
like, joining along with him?
Yeah, roll an advantage.
That's not very impressive.
See where's
That's 12.
With the advantage?
Yep.
The Yuan-Ti take a shuddering step backwards. The morale isn't broken, but they're staring at you, and they stare at the body of Isao.
Menez, which was underneath the body of Isao, just chucks his body off as she stands up, and she says, "So your traditions?" and she spits on the floor. And she says, "What was it?"
Sienna will go like, "We get to make one demand of them now," and she'll like look to the crowd. It's like, "Y'all will honor your traditions, correct?"
The burnt archer kind of steps forward, looking at all the people around him, all the yuan-ti, and he just slowly nods, looking at Asau's body. He walks over to Asau, kneels down by him, takes his dagger out, and cuts a scale off of him, which he then tosses onto a torch and burns it, as if like kind of like away with him. Basically, he wasn't strong enough. And he would look at you. What is your demand?
What is our demand, guys?
Sienna will go, kind of going, like pointing her staff at the burnt one, like the knowing is she knows she's the one who burnt. She's the one who burnt him. Like, you will quit the siege of the Aarakocra, and you will return to your homes.
And he would stare at you. You see his tongue flick out and kind of like go across his lips, scenting the blood in the air of his fallen commander. And he'd look over to Sal's body, kneel down, pull this kind of like feathered headdress helmet off of him, and put it on his head. Very well, we will honor your demand. In turn, and he'd start walking up the stairs, all the other yuan-ti following, leaving their commander behind, dishonored, disgraced, and dead.
Sienna will just just like plop down under her butt, like.
Okay, I want to search his body.
Bjorn will cough up blood, kind of spit on the ground. And the
she'll go
sword back to Sienna, and then sit back, just like staring in nothingness, and being like,
Sienna will use like every medical thing she has at the disposal, including her medicine kit, bandages, and healing potion to treat you.
Well, keep your healing potion. I don't think we'll need it.
Okay.
Shut up and just drink it. you don't know.
Okay. So as you search his body, kind of digging among his clothing, so he has the 2 scimitars. He's got the chakram, which he actually never even got to throw. He's got, and these scimitars are huge. They're like great swords, like they're big. He's got his like tribal armor, essentially, which you might be able to sell to some sort of a collector. That's worth about 75 gold pieces.
Sienna will, I guess, seeing a free moment, she will use the ritual to cast Detect Magic.
Okay, as you use the ritual to cast Detect Magic, you would see a spot directly beneath you in the center of the sun where the snake is biting the sun.
She will go over to, and I guess, roll an investigation check to investigate this magic, because this is what she does. She finds magical shit and investigates it.
Yeah, I mean, what you'd find is there's a false panel in the floor, essentially.
All right. Oh, damn, 20. Fuck, well, my rolls are good today. I love this dice app.
Yeah, so as you pull it open, pull this panel off, and you look down inside, you'd see a small, like, chest, like a jewelry chest almost is what it looks like, just very tiny.
And she will, gently pull it out and everything, and see what's inside it.
Inside is a single ring of a snake biting its own tail.
She goes, "Ooh, I will have to identify this later."
Okay, so I guess you pocket that.
She's not like hiding it. She lets the group know like she found this thing, but she'll keep it because she'll investigate it later.
While you're doing that, and you can continue just 1 second, is what Menez would have been doing is she's, as best as possible, she's like still keeping on guard, so she's like looking at the entrance of the water, looking at the entrance where they were going, and just like using perception. Just that's the only thing she's doing. So go on.
Yeah, all the yuan-ti are gone. You don't see any movement at all. Also among his body, you would find a small pouch containing some more gold and jewels. Among them is one small blue one that grows very, very brightly.
A jewel?
Yep.
Magically? When
Magically.
she looks at it? Ooh, shoot. she will pick that up if nobody doesn't already have it, and put it in her little bag of figuring it out later.
So who takes it then? This little jewel.
I was about to say I thought I was searching the body.
Oh, she
But
would mention it. Mention that it's clearly magic. If you want to keep it, she'll just ask to look at it later.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. We can identify it when we get out of here, away from here.
Okay, that's fine. So I'm assuming that identifying it later, I'll just tell you what these 2 items are. The ring is called the Ring of the Snake, and what it allows you to do is once per day, you are able to turn into a snake for let's just go with 5 minutes. You're allowed to transform into a snake once per day for 5 minutes.
What kind of snake?
Snake? No, just
snake.
There's just a snake, yeah, like a CR. I believe it's 1/4 or 1/8 or something like that.
Okay.
And the gem is an elemental gem of air. It allows you to summon an air elemental only one time when you break it.
Ooh. That is very.
And additionally, if you were to dig around the temple, you guys would each come away with an additional 150 gold pieces.
So I guess Sienna will look back she'll look to it's Kadesh, right? The bird.
Yeah, Kadesh the bird.
She'll I guess let's head on back to your monastery. Report the good news.
So is that all we find, just digging around the temple?
Yeah, this was just a base of operation, essentially. I mean, there'd be other sundry supplies. You'd get some rations or just whatever else you would think you might need in a small base camp. Just clear it with me. We'll do it in the post chat.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys would go back with Kadesh, and we'll do in chat again. We'll figure out what kind of an alliance you can assure with the Aarakocra, the remaining ones at least, and what the deal is with Moaxanare. We'll do that in chat. So this is going to be the end of the session. Let's go ahead and do ending, whatever you want to say. We'll start with Akira and end with Sienna.
I don't know. So I'm not really sure what to say, but I mean, it's been an exciting adventure. Akira is really excited that we beat down Assad. That was a great feat right there, and really glad to adventure out with you guys.
Yeah, I would say first just 2 things. One, Tyler, fantastic DMing, man. It's just brilliant. And with you guys, I'm starting to feel a synergy going on, man. It's really kind of cool. And what Menez would do is before we leave the place of the Aarakocras, she's going to ask actually that we divide up whatever we're going to divide up actually in that place. So we can do that later, of course. But in that the actual monastery, because she knows now when she goes back in the direction of the city, she's going to have to split ways with you, as she goes back on the run. That's it.
All right. Well, yeah, I had a lot of fun today. Thank you, Tyler, as well, for DMing. It was great. So that's it.
And once again, I'll say thank you, Tyler. That was a wonderful boss fight. That was awesome for everybody. Yeah, I guess, and just so as the DM remember, we bought and paid for the charters of the Flaming Fist. Get their bullshit of pocket change we got off the snake, because we have a plan to keep them from getting the ring and the gem.
Yeah, well, I'm actually going to roll when we in the chat to see if they even notice you guys coming back up through the River Orlung. So we'll see what happens with that.
All right, but yeah, this is a great session.
Okay, well, thanks guys for playing. As always,
we punched so far up above our weight class against fighting a Yanti aberration.
Yeah, dude, he was a beast, man. I made him to be deadly. Chris said not to pull any punches, so I didn't. But thanks for playing, guys, as always. And if you're watching this game, it's on my channel. And I hope you find yourselves and your games on a roll. Feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the game. And I hope to see you guys again.